Hello, guys, and welcome to the Stardom Cast, your bi-monthly audio source of all things World Wonder Ring Stardom, right here on the Podmania Podcasting Network. I'm your host, Rob Good, and I'm joined, as ever, by Christopher O'Brien. Christopher O'Brien, how are you?
Fair. Some really good wrestling this weekend. I haven't seen all of it.
Okay. I know that you were a big fan of Wrestle Peter Pan. I saw that you gave a match one of your coveted 5-star ratings.
Yeah, I really loved Akiyama versus Takashita. When as soon as I put it up, two people were like, "Oh yeah, I didn't like it that much." It was a big
Chris.
It was a big dumb epic, and I watched it with Velkage, who's very loud. Very loud.
I think you've mentioned this on our previous stream and many other podcasts about just how loud Velkage can be.
He's a loud man, so he kind of raises your energy up. So it's not exactly like my lovely
Speak of the devil.
Yeah, also Ring of Honor was really fun.
Yeah, I did see good things about Ring of Honor.
I haven't seen Night 2 yet, but Night 1 was really fun. Watched that with Forrest Over and Four Pillars of Hell, the YouTube fam.
YouTube fam from the ghetto of Scotland, Chris O'Brien.
Because literally what happened was I was like, if my normal stream pals, which is basically Velkage, and then I'd say you, but you never turn up. They watch Ring.
You never tell me when they're gonna be.
Because I don't plan these ahead.
You give me the wrong impression with this completely.
Anyway, so when I put that out, and then Forrest is messaging me going, "So we watching Ring of Honor?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I guess we are." And then Ethan joined in. It was fun.
Good. It was weird. It's weird that they put all the championship matches on night 1 and then a load of random matches and the cage match on night 2.
I think the cage match, they didn't want to take it because in the storyline, it's like a year in the making, the cage match. Whether or not people care is another issue. They're really pushing forward with the cage match.
Yeah, it's not something I'm tuning in for. Is Ode Vincent versus Matt Taven?
Red Titus versus Gresham was good though.
Yeah, that's because it's not Vincent versus Matt Taven, Chris.
I mean, that's not the only reason it. Like, a lot of things aren't. In fact, most things aren't Vincent versus Matt Taven.
I would argue that everything that isn't Vincent and Matt Taven isn't Vincent and Matt Taven.
Vincent's basically a better Bray Wyatt, isn't he?
Don't rise to it, Rob. Don't rise to it. He's trying to bait you.
I like it because that's what finally apparently got you to stop watching WWE was them firing Bray Wyatt. Not like all the awful atrocities they've committed. Not the drug dealing, not the murders, not the blood in their hands, not the deals with corrupt governments. Not paying their guys healthcare. Not 2K20. No, but also you're still going to buy 2K22, despite the fact Fire Pro Wrestling exists and is the perfect wrestling game.
Well, I think the fact that it's now WWE 2K22 has now been delayed till March. I think that I'm just done with the company in general.
You know.
Well,
does that mean you're finally going to find some time to watch some DDT?
Behave yourself, Christopher. However, there is something I want to bring up with you in regards to the Forbidden Door. So I look forward to that.
I talk about obscure Japanese wrestling to avoid the fucking Forbidden Door.
I'm afraid that Forbidden Door is opening and hitting you on the ass, Chris O'Brien. It's closer than you fucking think.
Yeah, if it's hit my ass,
it's coming. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for being late. We are, in fact, a day late, a buck short. It's entirely Chris's fault.
The people.
Yes, we don't get enough Blink-182 references in this podcast, but yes, it is 100% Chris's fault that we are a day late. We will, of course, be streaming every other Sunday, hopefully going forward. Birthdays. Yeah, if there are any shows, which brings us nicely on to the news. It's been a weird couple of weeks, hasn't it, Chris? But first thing I want to ask you, Chris, and I have a feeling I already know your answer to this. Britt Baker was asked who she would like to wrestle of people that weren't on the AEW roster, and in a lovely moment, she put over Mayu Iwatani, and said that basically she's the best in the world, which she is, obviously.
She was last year.
And it's drawn, let's be kind and say, divided opinion. There's been a few people who
fans are being divisive. Like, yeah, no way, no fucking way. I've never seen that in my life.
I know, it's weird, isn't it? Wrestling fans being confrontational. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
But basically, my question to you, Chris, is what would your opinion be if we did, in fact, get a Britt Baker versus Mayu match?
It exposes Stardom to more people, I guess. Like, which can only really be a good thing. Like, it would be fine. The match would probably be all right. Like, Britt Baker's nothing special unless she's like she had that really good match where Thunder Rosa, and then everything else is either bad or mid.
Yeah.
Which, like, so I'm sure the match would be good. Mayu's done more with less. Like, it's
absolutely.
Not like Britt Baker doesn't have the fundamentals down. She just kind of meh.
Yeah.
So, like, that wouldn't be the worst thing. Isn't like what the people who think this, because honestly, Mayu just going over for a match is fine. Like, what are the people who don't want this saying?
I think the people that don't want this are of the opinion that Britt is very much a story-based wrestler. There needs to be some sort of context to that fight. I think if she were to wrestle a more Japanese schedule or a more Japanese style where, you know, matches can just be made on a whim and they're good because Japanese wrestling is pretty much universally good, then people seem to think she hasn't got the in-ring nous to support that.
I think that's stupid on many levels. For one, they've given Britt less and she's done fine. And it doesn't need to be a deep story. It can be just an invading outside force. It would be weird seeing as Stardom fans seeing Mayu in that position, but it's not exactly a transition she couldn't do. Dickhead Mayu exists.
Dickhead Mayu does exist, and Dickhead Mayu is actually prevalent in the 5-star at the moment.
And honestly, if it's a case of tag leagues happening and we're not putting her in tag league so she won't be doing anything, why the fuck not? It's literally nothing but one more Mayu match at that point.
Yeah, you've got to think that Mayu singles matches don't often miss, irrelevant of who they're with. I can't think of the last bad Mayu singles match. The last one that fell a bit flat was, I think, the Saki match for No People Gate, but that wasn't either woman's fault. That was just the atmosphere.
I watched that recently.
Valkyrie, Kelly Klein. Yep, you're absolutely right. That was a dumpster fire. That was absolutely terrible.
But to be completely fair, it's Kelly Klein, isn't it? Like,
yeah, if we're comparing Britt Baker to Kelly Klein, I don't think there's really a comparison to be made.
Kelly Klein didn't quite know what she wanted to be. Britt Baker at least has an idea of what kind of wrestler she wants to be. And that kind of wrestler works. AEW fans really like her. But then again, I've seen what they cheer. But
I think it boils down to, as well, and we're not going to spend ages talking about this because the chances of it happening soon are very slim anyway. I think it does depend slightly on where they wrestle as well. If they wrestle in Japan, then I don't know how much the Japanese crowd are going to be into Britt Baker. However, if this takes place in America, then you've got a crowd who are super behind Britt, super invested in what she does, and Mayu is Mayu.
It's a trade-off either way, isn't it? Because your average AEW fan isn't going to know who Mayu is. You might have heard some rumble. Because it's a weird because but on our Twitter timelines there'll be a fair bit of crossover between AEW fans and Stardom fans, right?
Yeah.
But what people forget when they see that is a very small percent of the population have a Twitter account, and even smaller percent of that small percentage tweet. So, like, when you see that, it's a fraction of a fraction of a fraction. The people who like going to the shows, the million people who are watching in America every week, they're not going to know who Mayu is. So you're going to have that trade-off either way, aren't you?
Yeah, I think to a lesser extent, it would be like Liger going to WCW.
Yeah, that's the thing. If May went there as a case of she'd have to build up her... Like, look how long it took Sheila to build up a profile there.
That's true. That's true. I think the most important thing that you've got to take from this is if this does happen, and Plug Pedro on Twitch has just said, it's going to be better than a Ring of Honor run, and I think that's true. And especially with the amount of clout that AEW has at the moment, it's only going to be a good thing. Even if Mayu loses, then it doesn't matter. It's raised the profile of Stardom in America, which is what they want.
And it's a case of the argument, which I'm gleaming, is Brits below Mayu goes completely out the window when you realize Mayu wrestles a child at least once a week.
Yeah, and Mayu has lost against a clown.
Yeah.
So, it swings and roundabouts, really. It depends how they packaged Mayu coming over. If they just imported her as just another Japanese talent and didn't take the time to actually invest in her. And to be honest, AEW commentary does a fantastic job 9 times out of 10. If someone comes over, they do their research. People like Excalibur does a lot of research.
My favorite one was when Thunder Rosa first came in, and they were named the champion, like the NWA Women's Championship, and she was holding something else and all. And, and then Excalibur just went, "Oh, the it's the International Princess Championship in
respect to the clown
in Tokyo Joshi Pro," and Jim Ross is like, at least someone's heard of that.
Yes, you do run the risk of Jim Ross just completely blackballing it, but
he's been shit since like 2002 anyway. So
let's move on then, Chris. You mentioned Tag League and the fact that they might let Mayu or out of Tag League, looking very slim, as the fact that the Stardom injuries keep on coming. Obviously, it's been a while since we've podcasted together, and since then, Momo came up on the We Are Stardom Twitter account. The Momo will be forced to miss the weekend shows. That was the weekend just gone, the 13th Korakuen show, to heal up some injuries. They apologize for the changes to the cards. Can't seem to find what is wrong with Momo. I imagine, if we are to speculate, it is something to do with a heavily strapped up back. And I imagine that was heavily strapped to get her through those first 2 days. But yeah, injury burying Momo also. I'm a fan.
Luckily, with regards to that, the schedule's so loose that they can just put Momo on different days.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it's not like no one's had to forfeit or anything, so that's good. If this was like regimented like New Japan do, we'd just have a forfeit, but they're fine rescheduling it because I assume it's because Momo's going to be a contender for the win. So
you'd assume so, yeah. I mean, you look at Himeka, we're going to be reviewing up to night 6 tonight. Himeka is yet to wrestle at all, so yeah,
she's only
it's going to be interesting.
Yet to do so, eh? The only
her and Takumi, and Iroha. Another person leaving the roster, not due to injury, thank God, is Hina of Queen's Quest, who is going to take a hiatus from wrestling to study for her high school entrance exam. So, not a lot to say about that. Just we wish her all the luck. Hope she does really well. She won as part of her last match at Korakuen, which I thought was very, very nice. And Azumi and Utami, raised her hands and stuff. So that was really, really nice. I enjoyed that. The big news, of course, in regards to Stardom is that they've had to cancel quite a few shows. due to COVID exposure. As reported on their Twitter account, several of our athletes are undergoing mandatory at-home isolation due to contact tracing with the coronavirus infection. As a result, our August 21st and 22nd shows, which were yesterday and Saturday as we record, have been cancelled. Thank you for your continued support for Stardom. Several dates were cancelled before that as well. I believe a show on the 15th was also cancelled. Now, from what I understand, this is, again, nothing confirmed, but I believe it's the ring announcer, Yuri Kosakai. Kosakai? The ring announcer. Me? I don't know. I don't know.
Mayu wrong.
We do say Mayu wrong. It's all right, but we lean into that.
I still sometimes call the B driver the dude buster just to annoy someone.
Yeah, but apparently it is the ring announcer that has been diagnosed with coronavirus, and obviously any wrestlers that are in close contact with her have had to isolate for, I believe the quarantine time in Japan is still 10 days. I don't know. But obviously that has put paid to a significant chunk of the 5-star.
You know, they tend to be close to the ring announcer.
Well, I think it's more friendly. I think if you're in the ring with them, it's not as bad. Otherwise, you know, the entire roster would have to isolate. But I think it's people that hang out with her outside of the ring. I think they're more bothered about.
I mean, yeah. To be fair, though, yeah, but for the best, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd much rather Stardom stay safe and play it safe than try and plow through this tournament and endanger, 4, 5, 6 other people, or the audience.
Yeah,
so
or just the entire, because at that point you're going to have the entire roster down if you just try and power through.
Exactly. And as we've already said, you've got Hina leaving, you've got Momo injured, you've got Jungle, Natsukatora, Saya injured, and Himika injured. So, God forbid there are any more injuries in the 5-star. That's 6 people out already without COVID isolations. They're going to struggle to put together cards if they have many more down.
What you should start doing is putting crosses over the people on the top who are injured.
On top of the banner?
Yeah.
Like Bray Wyatt did in the Funhouse. Pray for Bray Wyatt. Another day that has been cancelled is the impending show on September the 5th. That is another card that has been cancelled. That is in Ibaraki at the Tsukuba Capio Arena, and that's been cancelled due to the state of emergency being extended there. The building's going to be closed to events, so Stardom can't run it. However, what they have said is they are going to be adding another date. September the 16th, which is a Thursday, I believe. They're adding that to the 5-star schedule. We'll give you the full schedule as it stands at the moment, pending any other cancellations. We'll give that at the end of the show when we go through all the current block standings. But this will take place on Thursday, September the 16th, and it's going to be taking place in Korakuen Hall. So I think what we can glean from all this, Chris, as we sort of move away from this, it is a good job that Stardom schedule shows with, where you've only got 2 block matches and stuff like that. Because I believe it was said in our Discord, it does leave a lot of gaps.
Yeah, exactly.
That we can fill and still get the full quota of matches.
That's one thing Stardom has been bad at, is contingencies. Like we saw Cosmic Angels and Stars, that whole feud basically just fizzle out because Mina went down, and they had a point where they wanted the Eradicate thing to start, so they just had to bin it. Yeah, like that's something Stardom's just bad. To be fair, a lot of companies are bad. New Japan's really bad at that.
Yeah.
So like if this happened in the G1 would just be fucked. So I'm kind of happy.
We've seen it happen before with the G1, where people have just had to,
Yeah, when we saw this shit happen last year with the 5-star, where like stuff just got continuously moved around. So they've learned from, like, it didn't end up affecting last year's 5-star that much. Like,
no, did it? I think 2 shows got cancelled, and then Syri had to forfeit a couple of matches, didn't she? Because of a mob.
But for the most part, they did move the matches on those cards to other cats. So like everything ended up being fine.
Yeah.
But they just learned, okay, maybe we should just not fuck with COVID.
Don't fuck with COVID, it fucks back, basically. Yeah, I think we will be all right. Obviously, we say that we can't possibly account for what's going to happen in terms of states of emergency in different prefectures and things like that. So obviously, we'll keep an eye on that. I was going to say peninsula, and it's because I've got a poster on my wall with it's like a world map and stuff, but it's got the word peninsula on it. So ignore me.
All I've got in front of me is my window. Actually, and 2 monitors.
To the window, to the wall. Anyway, so yeah, we
I'm just naming stuff on my desk.
Hemp. Now. You've got hemp.
Pens.
Oh, pens. Oh, pens. That makes far more sense than hemp. Why the fuck do you have hemp in the window?
Grow it.
Anyway, the final is going to happen. It's got to happen. I think it's the 25th of September at Ottawa City Gym. It's got to happen because it's on pay-per-view and they've got to deal with Samurai TV to broadcast it. So it's far more complicated to cancel that than it is to cancel, a show in, Shinjuku Face or something like that. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, as we get close to the 25th of September, we'll have a far clearer idea about what's going to happen. They might just have to add more dates. More matches might get added to the pay-per-view. I don't know.
Christ, Rack is going to have to wrestle 5 times.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Iroha's going to have 8 matches. She's going to have to do her entire block match as a gauntlet.
It's going to be like when Kagetsu retired.
Exactly. 1-minute matches in a gauntlet style. Let's kick into some results then, because we have got 4 nights to talk about. And even though there isn't, a great deal to talk about on some of the nights, there were some absolute bangers as well. Let's start with night 3 then, though. The 5-star Grand Prix 2021 night 3 from August 7th, 2021. The first of 2 shows in 2 days from the Edion Arena Osaka 2 in front of 279 people. A couple of non-tournament matches to start us off. A 3-way match. Mina Shirakawa defeated Hina and Starlight Kid with her new roll-up variation, the Glamorous Collection Mina, in 9 minutes and 28 seconds.
I hate it when people put their own names in their finishing move.
It's in capital letters as well to proper emphasize it, just to piss you off.
I can't think of one finishing move with someone's name in it that's actually good.
Evil.
That's not good.
I like evil. I like everything's evil. What's wrong with that? It's an STF.
It's STO.
STO. What did I say? STF.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the fucking result.
Because there's better STOs.
Can you name one?
Shibata.
Oh, yeah, Shibata is this one.
There we go. It's like, can you name one? Shibata.
Yeah, name me one then, dickhead. Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough.
I like how you keep trying to challenge me on things, and when you keep getting slapped down like the bitch you were.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just bide my time. You wait till you send me a text message and it's riddled with grammar errors, dickhead. Yeah,
writing and wrestling knowledge are 2 different. That's the thing. I joke about how bad I am at writing. There's a reason I do videos and not write articles.
We then have tag team match. Queen's Quest, Saya Kamitani and Momo Watanabe defeated the Ueda tag team of Rina and Konami when Saya pinned Rina with the Star Crusher in 7 minutes and 55 seconds. And then a 6-woman tag team match. The Stars team of Mayu, Koguma and Hanan defeated Lady C and the Donna Del Mondo team of Natsupoi and Maika when Koguma defeated Lady C with the German suplex in 10 minutes and 26 seconds.
No way, Lady C took the 4?
You're joking. I think that's a 78th loss or something like that. Straight. Yeah.
I mean,
or no, 68th, I think.
I absolutely it's a case of she doesn't have other young lions to fight. So it's a case
doesn't help.
Yeah, so she just kind of has to go out there and be thrown in the deep end.
Yeah.
It's like if you put you against Randy Couture. Actually, Randy Couture doesn't fight anymore. It's like if we put you versus Miocic. I can't say that properly. Him, the
Francis Ngannou.
Sure. I'm not a massive MMA guy.
Okay.
You have Chris as a badass, though.
Yeah, that's true. You have Chris with his fucking massive head.
It's not that big.
Mate, honestly, you need to put a photo in our Discord and on Twitter. In fact, I'm going to find it and I'm going to post it on our Twitter of your creator UFC fighter. And everyone can see the massive fucking Swede you've given your UFC fighter.
You don't have a lot of options for customization in the UFC 3.
I feel like you could have shrunk the head slightly instead of making it part cow.
It's part cow. Jesus. There wasn't any fucking cow ears at the top.
No, but it was a massive head, and that's the animal with the biggest head I could think of. Without being stupid and going like, blue whale.
Elephant.
Do they have big heads?
Proportional to the rest of it. Actually, they're about the size of my body. And they have big bodies.
They do have big bodies. I feel like we've got distracted.
I feel like that's part of our charm.
I feel like that is part of our charm. It makes people turn off though, which is also quite disappointing. I
don't care. Fuck them kids.
This brings us to our first 5-star match of the podcast, which was Blue Block match. Tam Nakano going to 4 points, defeating Ruaka with a violet shooting. Chris, what do you think of this?
Violent shooting. I know it's violet shooting, but I just in my head I heard violent shooting.
I think that's what it's supposed to be a parody of, to be perfectly honest.
And then I'm like, what kind of shooting isn't violent?
Passive shooting.
Yeah. You missed, I know.
It was done with love.
This is fine. I expect this to be like bang average, but it ended up being actively good. Only just.
Yeah.
Ruaka did a good job of making herself a threat, which is hard to do. You know what's funny? I can hear an echo of myself because you've got your headphones on over your fucking hat.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, Tams did a good job of selling for Ruaka. The match was structured well enough where you could actually think that Ruaka is going to win, which is hard to do. She's taken on the Toro role very well, and it makes more sense because she's 16, and every 16-year-old is some version of an idiot. Like, can you name a smart 16-year-old?
Greta Thunberg.
Is she 16? I thought she was like 12.
No, she's definitely older than 12. She was 12 at some point, but I don't think she's 12 anymore.
I think most of us were 12 at some point.
Most of us?
Yeah, some of us don't make it there.
Get out, Chris.
What?
Get out, mate. Jesus. What the fuck is wrong with you?
You questioned the most of us.
Yeah, I didn't. Oh, but me saying wanking over Jeremy Corbyn was weird.
It wasn't specifically for Jeremy Corbyn. It's the fact that you brought up the wanking to begin with. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's sort of the point. Oh, it's all right. We don't get money anyway, so pretty much demonetized anyway. This was good. I actually really enjoyed this match. I enjoyed both Ruaka's matches, to be fair. I enjoy the fact that Tam's arm injury is going to be a through line throughout the tournament. Yeah,
it makes me worry because Tam's in like middle of a road seller. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. And also we had like an arm selling masterclass in Micah versus Tammy, so that's what it's going to be compared to throughout the whole tournament.
That's true. And I will say, for the most part, I mean, we had this match, the Saya match, and the Micah match. And actually, her selling was pretty good throughout all three matches because all three women sort of took the arm apart. But I like the fact that Ruaka has very clearly seen Konami do it and has then been like, I'm going to do that, which is great. She's learning from members in a weirder time. Now, the only thing we need to do is to get rid of the brand new decorated papier-mâché fucking vegetable crate that looks something like something off Art Attack.
I like the crate.
What is that? It doesn't look like it hurts anyone.
I mean, like, what do you want people to hurt people?
It's wrestling. I'd like the appearance.
Okay, so you should start bringing a light tube. A purple light tube.
Fucking light tubes. Jesus Christ. What is it with you and light tubes?
They're cool. They explode and go burr. It's great.
I do like the fact as well that despite Ruaka's dominance in this match, it wasn't a case of, Tam hulks up, it's the Twilight Dream, and she's off. I like the fact that it was her inexperience that sort of played a fact in this. The fact that instead of carrying on targeting that arm and proper taking it apart, she goes to the vegetable crate. And then Tam's able to capitalize on that. Because she wants to be like Tora. Exactly. That's something that you can sort of play into. But yeah, ultimately, it's a move that didn't require her to use her arm, which is great. And yeah, I'd argue this is the best I've seen Ruaka look in singles action. She had a good match against Syri for the future belt a couple of months ago at Korakuen. But I'd argue this is the best we've seen her. And you mentioned it, I think, on Twitter. The first time we've really seen her as a bruiser, like a proper threat. And I think it worked because, Tam's come in with an injury. And yeah, I think that's how it works. I think she's done really well there.
Yeah.
What did you give it?
I gave it 3.
Yeah, I'm along the same. Good job being a bundle of positivity, Chris.
I mean, have you listened to this? Have you listened to this fucking podcast?
Yeah. To be fair, if you've listened to this podcast at all, you know that Chris is nothing. Nothing.
I am either obnoxiously happy or mentioning child mortality.
Yeah, having known Chris for 3 years, I can honestly tell you that when he's happy, he's actually worse. Which doesn't sound believable, but trust me, it is.
He's only saying this because I got 3 picks last time on the Watch Along podcast. It was great. It's the best one we've had so far.
Let's move on.
Remember that guy who did commentary? Stefan.
Yes.
Stefan. Beautiful man.
Love Stefan. What a man.
I bet he's an Adonis.
Oh, I bet he is. Beautiful man. Yeah, red block action. Saki Kashima getting her first win of the tournament, defeating Giulia with the Kishikasai in 9 minutes and 59 seconds.
What I like is Saki is to Giulia what Kofi Kingston was to Randy Orton.
Honestly, mate, I love this match. Thought it was great.
This is really good. Saki is really good at getting out of trouble.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's Giulia kept trying to drop her on her head, and she was like, "No." And she effectively just frustrated Giulia to the point where she fucked up and got a roll up.
Saki is God. You're right.
I love Saki.
Saki's great.
She was really annoyingly bland in Stars, but since joining Oeditai, she's just been great.
Agreed, Alex. Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more, Chris.
Because she was the core of this match. She kind of for the most part, she kind of just wrestled around Giulia. And I'm not saying that to say anything bad for Giulia, but all the good parts of this match were Saki.
Agreed. Basically, Saki is the sort of bogey opponent that Giulia has. Giulia just can't seem to get any momentum against Saki. She had the singles victory a couple of weeks ago. I believe in Hamamatsu, I think.
I don't remember what occasions.
Don't forget that Saki's the one who gave Giulia her very first pinfall loss.
Yeah.
She's beat her here. And it felt believable. At no point did you think Giulia's going to absolutely fucking thump this. There was always that small part of you that was like, if Saki can roll Giulia up, especially the longer this match went, because Giulia was on top for the majority of the match. Significant power advantage. But you always had that thought in the back of your head that Saki was going to come in, especially the longer it went. If Giulia couldn't put Saki away in the first 6-7 minutes, Saki had a chance.
Saki's one of those people who isn't going to win the 5-star, but she'll ruin your favorite's 5-star.
100%. To a less comedy effect, she is Toriano.
Yeah, I think about
she could legitimately beat anybody on that roster.
She's a middle ground between Toriano and what Sakuraba was in last year's N1 victory. where like she's there for like quick wins, but like she's not predominantly. Actually, in that case, I think Sakuraba's a better comparison, despite the fact you can think of two people more different than Saki Kashima and former MMA legend Sakuraba.
The idea of those two having a fight is oddly terrifying.
That can happen next time on Chris Championship Wrestling.
Oh,
she can take on when it can take on Shrek.
Really, you're really putting on the really putting it on, aren't you, for your streams?
I mean, like I can't advertise them. I barely announce them ahead of time.
Okay. I did like the fact that towards the end, like we started and Giulia was a little bit wary. And then Saki was basically a dickhead, started twisting her hair and stuff. And that sort of brought on Giulia, like woke Giulia up almost. And then from there, Giulia basically battered Saki into oblivion, but Saki just wouldn't go down. She kept wriggling out of things. She kept wriggling out of the Glorious Driver. She kept wriggling out of the STF. And she eventually sort of became increasingly desperate. She became increasingly desperate and started resorting to roll-ups, which against Saki, you're never going to win with roll-ups.
Yeah, I liked it. There was a very clear dynamic of one needs to hit bombs, one needs to not have the other person hit bombs. You know, it's kind of like, have you ever had to like get a child, like a really annoying small child, from one place to another?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what I mean. You hit the Northern Lights bomb on them, and then you can take them anywhere.
I mean, yeah, it's game over at that point. But no,
pretty sure that's where you were going with that, wasn't it?
No, you pick them up and like they wriggle out your hand and run off. So you get them again, they wriggle out and run off. It's like you need to go to school.
They're outside the gates.
No, scare them out the fucking door. They're old enough to walk to school themselves, I think.
You're just there trying to hit the Glorious Driver on them. Just fucking stay still.
And we'll just burning hammer. No one kicks out of this shit.
Yeah, really, really, really enjoyed this. And despite the fact that I'm still of the opinion that Giulia will win this tournament at the end, having her lose back-to-back matches and creating that sort of doubt in herself, I think is a really good way to go about it. We don't just want Giulia, if she is to win, which again, I am of the opinion she will, you don't just want her to plow through everyone and make it really, really obvious. So the way they've booked this is fantastic because again, Saki has history with Giulia. It was never a foregone conclusion that Giulia was going to beat Saki. So yeah, I think it worked really, really well. I gave it 3 3/4, Chris.
I gave it 3 3/4.
See, we're just so similar, Chris. Just so similar. Now, I have lots to say about Unagi. Not all of it good. Not any of it good, actually. Unagi. But I won't go off on her here. The 5-star carries on. Blue bottom match. Utami Hayashishita got 4 points, defeating Unagi Sayaka, who was also on 4 points, with the German suplex in 11 minutes and 35 seconds. Chris, opinion?
It was fine. It was fine.
Yeah, quite literally. I think that's probably the best way I can describe it. I mean, in an ideal world, I would have loved to have seen Utami just fucking barrel through Unagi in about 3 minutes.
They're not going to do that. Evidently, hire Unagi.
Yeah, I would have liked this story of Unagi having beaten Tam and Azumi because of their complacencies. And then she gets the ideas of grandeur and thinks like she's the greatest wrestling mind in the world and then just gets fucking battered.
But instead, you had the same Unagi thing where people are like, it's Unagi. And then Unagi gets some offense in and then she gets put in her place.
Yeah, exactly. And, it went a bit long. I did think this match went a bit too long, but I thought it was fine. We're certainly not going to be talking about this match come the end of the year, despite Utami being in it. Despite Unagi getting, the stereotypical hope spots, which was just a litany of leg drops, and actually managing to briefly lock in the Daifuhen Kartame, which It's called about 3 different things if you go on Stardom World. It's either Defuhan Katame, something like that to start off with. And now it's Daifuhan Gatame. So if someone could please help me with that before I release the Stardom book and it's got about 4 different names, that would be great.
It's the Dude Buster.
It's the Dude Buster. But yeah, the thing is, Utami never, ever looked like she was going to lose. Ever. So ultimately, like I say, German suplex, Utami moves to 4 points, joint top of the block with Unagi, which is not something I thought I'd say. But post-match, Utami does go some way to putting over how much Unagi's grown in her tenure with the company, and then makes it weird by comparing her to some Unagi that she ate in summer. Makes it really, really odd. Apparently, summer Unagi is best Unagi. I don't know, Chris.
Well, why would you have Unagi in winter?
Maybe I don't know. I don't know, Chris.
It's out of season, man. Over season.
Is it? Is it out of season? Are eels season worthy?
Yeah, the sea's frozen over.
The sea has frozen over. The entire sea.
The sea was on fire a couple months ago. Like, it's not...
What are you talking about?
It wasn't fire. Didn't you see that? The sea was on fire.
Was it on fire, or was it an oil spill?
Well, yeah, but it was still on fire.
Right. I don't know why I bother, because what did you give this match, Chris?
I gave it 2 3/4. It was fine.
Yeah, I gave it 3. It was demonstrably fine. Let's move on then to our main event of night 3, which again was 5-star Grand Prix block action blue block match. Azumi getting her first win of the tournament, moving to 2 points, defeating Syri, who stays on 4 points with the Azumi Sushi in 13 minutes and 38 seconds. Chris, what did you think of this? Well, I guess the sea was not on fire. The fire was on the sea. Way, yes, wordplay. Chris, what do you think of this?
I liked it. Like,
that's what you come here for, guys. Professional style analysis of matches. That's why people tune in to the podcast, Chris. It was good.
Yeah, well,
is that it?
Okay, so it was really Azumi and Syri have really good chemistry. Mm-hmm. As was shown from their SWA bout earlier in the year. This had the same dynamic of high-speed ace versus hard-hitting maniac.
Mm-hmm.
And it works. It's a really good dynamic. It makes Azumi, who is fairly stoic, someone you get behind, which is hard to do when there's like Azumi, Momo, and Utami can all have that same problem where they're so stoic in nature that when they have to get to the point of being behind, being the one fighting from underneath, it can fall a bit flat.
Yeah, definitely.
That wasn't the problem here, because Syri just shoots on people. It's just really good. There was a Canadian destroyer. I love that.
The Azumi destroyer, indeed.
Yeah, I kind of like how. What I like about the destroyer is that it gets called a different thing depending on where it is.
Yep.
Like there was one, Stevie Boy in ICW up here, has one, and they call it the Glasgow Destroyer. Obviously.
If it's in Canada, they call Canadian Destroyer. Essex Destroyer, yeah.
Yeah. What other destroyers are there? Star Destroyer.
That's true. Our last episode, Plug Pedro said she needed a kill move. I don't think that'll be her kill move, if I'm perfectly honest. It's a little bit too contrived to do a destroyer every single match, and it loses its impact slightly.
Especially, and also, she didn't even pin her with a destroyer. She just went into a roll up.
Into the roll up, yeah, which actually played into this match very well.
And also, Syed is a better destroyer. I'm sorry, but she does.
So, no, you're right. I think she does. So, it was a better impact move, though. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Azumi's starting to fill out of her. Both Azumi and Starlight actually are getting better at filling out their moveset, which is
agreed.
could. Honestly, I think if she did it last for Stomp, could be a good kill move.
See, the problem is with the double Stomp from the top, too many people do it. Azumi does it. Saki does it. Mayu does it. She needs something else.
I've got it.
Azumi Destroyer into a roll up would be good. Yeah, but again, a Destroyer is something that I don't want to see every match. If you're going to do some manner of impact move, yeah, sure, make it athletic. That's absolutely fine. Well, there's a horrible stigma that's attached to the Destroyer, I think, as well, which doesn't help.
Yeah, because it just looks inherently cool. So
it does.
And everyone gave it to their wrestler in SmackDown vs. Raw.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was everyone's finisher.
What else were you going to give him? A powerbomb? Nerds. It's hard to say much about this match because it was just a good dynamic and it fucked. It's not layered, but at the same time, it's not meant to be layered. It's a tournament match.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think if Azumi was going to get a win over Syri, this is exactly how it should have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Syri didn't look any worse. There's no way she could have prepared for a Destroyer.
Nope.
So,
I mean,
I just thought it was kind of neat.
You mentioned earlier their SWA match, and that was a fantastic match. But the problem was, and the reason it's not talked about more, is because it was it was on the same weekend as the absolutely outstanding Giulia versus Starlight Kid match.
And there was not a hope in hell that Azumi would win.
Well, there's also that as well. But even so, that is a match of the year contender. And everybody came out of that weekend talking about Giulia versus Starlight Kid, which does that match, Azumi and Syri for the SWA belt, does it a little bit of a disservice because it was a very, very good match. In terms of this match, I loved it. Syri oozing confidence because she hasn't lost in the 5-star yet. Azumi attempting to turn it into a high-speed encounter, but, basically Syri beating her the fuck down and basically beating her with an uncomfortable level of stiffness at times. And then there was a moment where, well, there wasn't a moment, it was a couple of moments where the match speed it proper took a nosedive. And I didn't hate that because it's subtle, but I love the fact that Syri basically slowed the match down to almost a crawl when she's in control because she's determined to drag Azumi as far away from that high-speed comfort zone that she remains in into her comfort zone. And I thought that was a really subtle thing in this match, but worked really well. And ultimately, trying to take her time to beat the shit out of Azumi, bisecting Azumi, ultimately cost her the match. Because she took too long trying to beat the shit out of her, trying to kick her into oblivion, and then she ends up getting rolled up after a Canadian Destroyer.
It also had a very good dynamic of one of Syri's hit is equivalent to 5 of Azumi's.
Exactly. And this is what we said about the SWA Undisputed title match back in February. The fact was that Azumi ran out of, not ideas, but she ran out of steam towards the end simply because Syri beat the shit out of her, and Syri strikes are bigger and better and badder than Azumi strikes. It's just how that works. It was a surprise result and means that for the second 5-star in a row, Azumi has beaten Syri in the blocks. Which, yeah, she seems to be becoming a little bit of a bogey fixture for Syri in the 5-star, which...
Bogey fixture? I've never heard that before.
Have you not? It's
no.
If you're a bogey team to someone, it means they can never be, or they always have a hard time against you.
It's a sports term.
Yeah, it's a sports term.
Yeah, the only sport I watch is Formula 1. So.
Which isn't a sport.
It's a sport.
I gave this 4.25, Chris. What did you give it?
4. It was really good.
Really, 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 really good. Let's move on then to night 4, I believe. So this was again the second night in Osaka Arena, the Edion Arena, Osaka, number 2, August 8th, 2021, with a significantly higher attendance of 405 people. A couple of undercard matches before we get into the blocks. Three-way match, Unagi Sayaka defeated Lady C and Azumi with Daifuhan Gatame in 6 minutes and 42 seconds. Six-woman tag team match, the Stars team of Mayu, Utani, Hanan, and Koguma defeated the Queen's Quest team of Momo Watanabe, Utami Hayashishita, and Hina with the Hanan special in 10 minutes and 31 seconds. And then the final undercard match, tag team match, Alto Lavella, Kabilawan, Giulia and Syri defeated the Oida tag team of Rina and Konami with the Scorpion Deathlock in 9 minutes and 52 seconds. Brings us on to our first block match of night 4, and that is the blue block match with Maika going to 4 points, defeating Ruaka with the Michinoku driver in 4 minutes and 44 seconds. Chris, opinion?
Fine. it was fine. Like, here's the thing, you get into the point of the 5-star where we're just settling in and having okay matches to get the results in, and that's exactly what should happen. I don't want these people killing themselves for a small show.
Yeah,
just for the sake of a tournament. So yeah, this is fine. It's normal kids managing to get upper hand on a veteran. Well, it's my kids, so not a veteran, but upper hand on a upper mid carder before they get put in their place.
Mm-hmm.
Worked just fine. Mike felt in less trouble than Tam, but Mike is not a from behind babyface like Tam is. So ultimately, that doesn't matter. It was fine.
Yeah, in my notes I've put it's definitely only one for completionists. This one.
Most of these, let's be honest, most of the matches from day 3 to 6 are for completionists only.
There are a couple of matches that I definitely won't be going back to watch again, but yeah, this was fine. Ruaka works Micah's ribs with a series of rather tame-looking punches and a volley of sentons. She then bites Micah's arm, but misses the freezer bomb for the second match in a row. Gives Micah the opportunity to put Ruaka away, which she takes, hitting the Michinoku driver 2 after hitting the Sazanka. Relative quick and painless, aside from the biting. So, yeah, there's literally nothing else to this match. It's not a layered match. It's not a story match. It's a 4-minute match. I gave it 2 3/4, Chris. Nothing offensive, but it's 4 minutes.
2.5. It was fine.
Yeah. It's nothing wrong with this. Ruaka, I think, is great. She's really coming on.
The biting is good.
The biting is good.
Elkage, I've watched a death match with you. You're a sick fuck.
Let's move on then, and we move to the red block for our next match, with Mina Shirakawa moving to 4 points, defeating Saki Kashima, who stays on 2 points, with the Glorious Collection Mina in 10 minutes and 12 seconds. Chris, I shouldn't have enjoyed this match as much as I did.
Yeah, I'd done with less banking. But then I started watching the match. No.
Kinky.
But after that, it was a good match. These two worked really well together.
They do.
And like a lot of attempted quick roll-ups, which always makes for easy, not heat, but easy like tensiveness. That's not what that word means.
Intensity.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
It's an easy way to make you buy in. Harley Race would have hated it because he once went up to CM Punk and his guy and went, that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 shit. Don't do that bullshit. No, but literally, because he was refereeing the match, it's like, you better not fucking do that. I think my Harley Race impression is spot on.
Absolutely.
Anyway, this was just very good, very fast, less banking, and it would be even better. Went on a bit long. Could have shaved a few minutes off of this one, which is a surprisingly common complaint this year. I'm not gonna lie, most of the matches here, I'm pretty sure I've said could have shaved some time. Even the ones I really like take May versus Giulia, you definitely could have shaved 5 minutes off of that.
5's a bit extreme, but you definitely could have cut some time out of it.
Yeah, you could have.
I do agree with that.
You could have just just go straight to bombs. Anyway, yeah, it's good. It's not gonna blow your mind because it's Mina. but it's probably one of Mina's better singles matches. As in, like, I didn't actually hate anything she did. I feel sorry for her because now her role in Stardom is apparently to get sexually harassed. Micah did it to her. Saki did it to her. I'm pretty sure someone else has, but I've forgotten.
Tam and Mayu did it, like, throughout the tag league.
Yeah.
Poor Mina.
I don't think she's aware enough to know what's happening.
No, there is that. To be fair,
like if you sexually harassed a puppy, what? Why did I could have just said. There's no way I could have put puppy in there and made that not bad.
You didn't have to say it. You didn't have to say. What the? Right. Oh, you make this so hard to edit this fucking podcast sometimes. The fuck? Jesus Christ. It's like if you sexually assaulted a puppy. Who the fuck says that, Chris?
Apparently me.
People are going to unsubscribe, and rightly so.
Yeah.
You muppet.
I do this for fun.
Anyway, I thought Saki was great here, and Mina, to be fair. Mina's selling was really good. And I think that's a big difference between Mina and Unagi. For me, Mina's selling is a lot better. You feel...
She's a very good babyface in peril. Yeah,
absolutely. Not only because the selling of the arm's brilliant, and we'll come on to Saki's work on that in a minute, but her facials, her subtle nuances, they make you feel like she is actually in real pain, in real discomfort. And it's something she's really, really improved on in her time in Stardom. Saki's work on the arm's great. Really, really enjoyed the modified dragon screw arm whips. They were really good. There was a great moment that paints Saki as a really intelligent in-ring competitor. She has Mina in a submission, and then Mina's getting towards the ropes, and Saki would have been forced to break the hold. But instead, she just breaks her own hold, transitions seamlessly into another in the middle of the ring. And it's excellent. It worked really, really well in this match. And the fact that ultimately Mina wins with a roll-up, which not only is a flash move that doesn't bury anybody, but also it's the move that Saki would use to win. I think it's perfect. Perfect storytelling. Alex Tremaine has just said, I agreed, I believe Mina in a way that I just don't with Unagi. That's something that I'm going to come on to.
Unagi's really artificial.
We're going to get onto that in a match with Konami. Definitely.
Yeah, Mina has something. She hasn't quite put it all together yet, but like there's a spark with Mina.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean. It's by no means a complete package at the moment, and she's showing different things in different matches. But as soon as she puts it together, that'll be good. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah,
she's normally the second best part of Cosmic Angel's tag matches.
Yeah, and she'll continue to be the second best once we talk about Korakuen. Yeah, Plug Pedro shows she can play her game too. It does add a completely different dimension to Mina's game as well, having this flash pin. It gives her that out in a desperate circumstance, which certainly adds to her as a babyface. So yeah, I do agree with that. I gave this 3 3/4 again, Chris.
Oh, I only gave it 3. I did enjoy it.
Ooh, interesting.
I think it's a good match.
It is a good match. I really enjoyed it. I couldn't really find much fault with it. We move on. 5-star Grand Prix red block match this time with Starlight Kid moving to 3 points and Natsupoi moving to 3 points after their match ended in a double count out at 9 minutes and 38 seconds.
That 2 count out, double count out would have been no, because like a draw is no one lost, but like a double count out is no one won. Like they both lost.
Yeah. I had issues with the finish. The match itself was fantastic. Really Natsupoi and Starlight Kid have got really good chemistry.
I don't mind the ending, and I'll go into why I don't mind the ending when we get to the ending. But like the bulk of this match was just really fast, really fun. I've given up. So like as y'all know, I keep a thread on Twitter
of Crystal's Puro.
You plugged it that time. You plugged it. And I put this up. I've given up on trying to like justify my enjoyment of high speed matches, which is effectively what this was. Because
effectively.
Because, like, what can you? Like, it was fast paced and the moves were cool. That's all you can really say. Like, they're not so I've just started using Sonic the Hedgehog lyrics. So, like, must keep on moving ahead. No time for guessing. Follow my plan instead. Just believe in what you can't see. Take my lead. I'll set you free. Not a Sonic the Hedgehog fan?
Could not give less of a fuck about that blue hedgehog.
Oh, but you know he's blue.
Everyone knows Sonic's blue.
Not the colorblind.
Why? Why? Obviously not the colorblind, Chris. I hate you. I really. Oh God. So, yeah, the match itself was great, and don't forget, in March, these two had an excellent high-speed match. Actually, in this arena, in the Edion Arena, Osaka.
Dynamics twisted well.
Exactly.
Also, Starlight's improved immensely since. I feel to say about for every Starlight rematch, but like she's improved immensely in that time.
You think where she's going to be in 6 months, 12 months?
Probably in Stardom.
Yeah. Well, might be in NXT.
They're not hiring small people anymore, Rob.
Oh no! Only if you're like, if they're going back to the Johnny Ace school of hiring, aren't they? Yeah. Going back to what I said before about the finish, my instant reaction was, it's a cop out, and it annoyed me, but it makes sense for Starlight's heel character to ruin someone else's tournament as well as her own. And I do understand that, obviously.
Also, at that point, there was no way Starlight was going to get back in the ring.
That's true.
So it's the best way to glean something out of this tournament. Like, at that point, it's having no points or 1 point in the table.
That's exactly what I've said.
That's what I like. Because I was talking about to Forrest about this on the RH stream, where I wish people would use countouts more. Like, I wish countouts were like more strictly enforced, so it could be like something you could factor into your winning strategy.
Yeah.
Like, throw them out and then like use your offense to sort of keep them outside. I think that could be good. I think that could be really good.
You do appreciate afterwards, obviously, we have the whole thing where Starlight chokes Natsupoi out and then basically says that she's the challenger for the high-speed belt, the next challenger. I do appreciate that, obviously, we want to get to Natsupoi versus Starlight, but we can't then have Natsupoi lose to both Koguma on the opening night and Starlight. She can't lose to everyone in the division, despite New Japan thinking that's the way to book the United States Championship division when Juice Robinson's champion.
That was 3 years ago. Get over it.
But you can't do that. So this is a way of, getting that challenge in, but not completely burying your champion, which I do appreciate.
Yeah, but at the same time, you could have had her beat Koguma.
Yeah.
Koguma's not at the stage where like the big win's going to feel like a manufactured big win, where it was a gutsy performance like we saw on the main event at Korakuen. It's going to do a lot more.
Really enjoyed that. Yeah. The challenge does excuse the finish a little in retrospect, as it's using the 5-star match to set this up. That result is surely a no-brainer, Chris. Starlight has to win this title. Not only is she one of the hottest things in the company right now, but she's also 0-7 when it comes to challenging for the high-speed championship. If she goes 0-8, that's pretty hard for anyone to come back from, surely.
I'm sorry, but like, there's two things. One, it's the high-speed belt. They just forgot to change it. $500,000 they just forgot to put it on the line for a year last year. So
if I've got to get over it, no. If I've got to get over Juice Robinson in the G1 Climax, you've got to get over Riho as high-speed champion.
There's a big difference. That was only last year. That was only last year. Juice Robinson 3 years ago and wasn't the most offensive part of the US title scene that year.
No, disagree. You can't bring that up now.
And second of all, you're trying to put logic onto Stardom, of all places.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Stardom's not a logical
You can't
place.
turn Starlight Kid heel, make her one of the biggest heels in the company, if not the biggest heel in the company, with the exception of Natsuko, who's obviously injured.
No, I agree with make storyline sense.
All this momentum behind it. Don't forget, spoilers, going into this, she's top of Red Block. She can't then lose the belt again. Because who's Natsupoi got left to face? Koguma? And that's it. She's already beat Azumi. She's already beat Death.
I'm still flabbergasted that Saki's not in high speed.
Say again?
I'm still flabbergasted that Saki's not in... Not Saki. Yeah, Saki's not in high speed.
Yeah. She would make a... She would make a decent addition to that division, to be perfectly honest.
Especially since she's not currently in any division.
Exactly. She's never been pushed for singles titles, ever, so that would make sense.
She's barely pushed for tag titles.
Yeah, true.
She is normally bigger star and Saki.
Do you think Starlight Kid wins this?
Maybe I'm 50-50. Like, honestly, it's not like high speed. High speed isn't a belt that normally has long reigns anyway. Well, I say that Azumi and Hazuki and Riho, but yeah, it would make sense. Like, I'm not saying it would make storyline sense, but like, again, it's Stardom. They sometimes feel like we book at random.
Yeah.
So, like, especially since right now Starlight's story is with Mayu. Like, again, it would, like, at that point it would just be a trinket. It'd be like, I've managed to achieve this thing I haven't achieved before.
Yeah.
But like, considering she already went for white belt and lost, that it would feel a bit like a downgrade.
It would, yeah. I do get that, but when you consider she's had one piece of singles silverware and it's the future belt, which no one counts, I feel like her character development, her character work, and everything she's done since the heel turn, she deserves a singles title. And yes, it's the high-speed title, but don't forget, it's the title which she is synonymous with because of all these losses. You know, the white belt, you can understand her losing. She's not quite at that level yet. I'm sure she will be in the next 6 months. But at the moment, with the amount of talent that you've got in that very small area, red and white belt, I think Starlight's perfect for the high-speed belt. Because you're going to put on wall-to-wall bangers like Plug Pedro's just said, having Starlight win and then Koguma as the first defense makes sense. It does make sense, but I think that depends on how their block match goes. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. What did you give it, Chris? You gave it... oh, no, we haven't said that yet. It's the previous match. Sorry. Ignore me. What did you give this one?
Poi and that's okay. 4.
I give it 3 3/4.
Yeah.
Right. Now.
You know what I like? You're presuming here because I haven't told you what I thought about this match.
You've deliberately not told me what you thought about this match.
Because for context, I've heard I saw no one talk about this match on Twitter, right? I've heard 2 things about this match. One from Rob, where he said he loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And one from Valkid, where he said it's everything he hates about wrestling.
Correct. So yeah, that's what we're talking about. Main event of night 4, blue block match. Saya Kamatani moving to 2 points with her first win, defeating Tam Nakano who is on 4 points with the Hurricane Rana in 13 minutes and 18 seconds.
I don't normally do this. Before we go into the match, what did you give it?
4 1/4.
Huh. Okay.
I really, really enjoyed this match.
It was a good match. I'll say go the other way right now. I don't hate this match.
Okay.
This match is a marked improvement over their title match by a long way. Like, this isn't actively bad. In fact, it's actively good.
Yeah, absolutely.
My biggest problem with it, just to jump to it, is I think it kept going like 2 or 3 minutes after its emotional peak. Like, I think you know when Tam hit the tiger out of nowhere.
Yeah,
that was the peak of this match, and then it just kept going. It was like something out of 2007 Ring of Honor, where like the stuff after it was cool. It was cool. There was good moves after this, but if we were to draw a graph of this match, it was like boom and then boom. Like, it's not a massive dip; it's still a dip. But yeah, it's much better than the title match. It's actively good. I really enjoyed it. There was some really good stuff in here. Saya's hits actually like landed, which is better than the slaps, which felt like they went on for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And And then like Tam's kicks actually connected here. You could hear them at the start.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the bombs in the back half. It was good. It was a good match. Hit all the normal big match tropes, which I'm not sure I'd love for a tournament, but you know, it started a minute. So I enjoyed this match. It was a good match.
A couple of things I just want to say about it then. So people who enjoyed the pair's championship match back in July commented on the story of Tam being willing to do the ugly work to win the match. And that was something that Tam put over in her post-match. While Saya wasn't willing to do that, ultimately resulting in her losing that white belt match. Here, she seems completely focused on the task at hand. She's refusing the handshake, and she's focusing short-like on Tam's injured, heavily strapped arm. The arm that had already been the focus of the Konami and Ruaka matches. And this match isn't pretty. Like every Saya match, we talk about how athletic she is, how good it looks. You know, she's doing topes, she's doing Phoenix splashes. It all looks so beautiful. Here it didn't. It looked raw. It looked messy. And that was the point. She was doing the ugly work. She was doing the messy work to get that win. Everything that she didn't bother with the handspring. It's the first match I think I've seen Saya where she hasn't done that handspring dropkick. And she didn't do it. She didn't bother with it. Everything focused on Tam's arm. Everything. Big boots, drop kicks, slams, everything. The strikes, everything focused on Tam's arm. And it was instantly, every time Tam gained momentum, Saya would go back to the arm. And it just worked. I was so much more invested in this near 14-minute encounter than I was with their title match. And don't forget, I quite enjoyed their title match. I enjoyed their title match far more than you did, and a darn sight better than Velkage did. But I genuinely enjoyed the untidiness of this match, the story that it told with respect to their title match, the fact that Saya wasn't just going through the motions, which sometimes, and I don't mean that in a disparaging way, you know, there are key moments that she has to hit in every match sometimes. Yeah. That handspring dropkick being, you know, the main offender.
She does the springboard crossbody to the outside all the time.
Exactly. Can we just talk about the fact, by the way, that when Tam went to do the crossbody to the outside, which the entirety of stars do, Saya just moved. That is great. Why don't more people do that?
Samoa Joe, that shit.
Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. If you're going to jump at me, I'm going to fucking move. Yeah, that's great. It's great, but the fact that Saya manages to goad Tam into using her bad arm during that really emotionally fueled forearm exchange, which means that it's even weaker and she can't bridge when she does eventually hit the Tiger Suplex. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And I think as well, it is rather fitting that the match ended with a really messy looking Hurricane Rana than, with Star Crusher or with the Phoenix Splash.
Yeah. I think it should have happened sooner after the Tiger, though. I think she should have tried to set up something else and then get it turned into a more quickly, because again, after that, the emotional peak of the match had been, and at that point you end it or you go the distance kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's I'm not saying like I wasn't like the end of this match was bad, because it's like objectively like not bad. But also, I was markedly less, because as soon as the Tiger Suplex didn't win, I'm like, well, Saya's winning.
No, I get that. I do get that. And, that's why I'm not, standing on the rooftop saying it's 4 3/4. There are,
I like how that's your ceiling here. It's like, oh, these two couldn't go 5.
Do you know what? With story, I'm sure they could. They proved that they can put on a fantastic match here.
They can put on a good match, but like, I don't know, 5's quite high.
Yeah, well, that's why I haven't given it 5, Chris. Listen, pay attention, Chris. What did you give it?
I gave it 3.5. It was good. It was really good, actually.
Fair enough. Let's move on then to night 5. There was only 2 matches from the 5-star on this card.
Very quickly, I'm gonna rant, because I was talking to you about this, and you're like, you can skip to night 5. I'm like, we have a fucking podcast.
No, right. That got lost in translation. What I meant were, Sorry, what I meant was the matches aren't great. That is what I meant. I didn't mean skip them, because then ultimately I might as well do the podcast on my own, which I feel like I do sometimes. So 5-star Grand Prix 2021.
And the most entertaining part of this podcast, fucker.
To you are.
I enjoy myself.
You do enjoy yourself, and that's all that we can ask, Chris. But yeah,
if I didn't give a fuck, that'd be weird.
What do you mean if you didn't give a fuck? You've mentioned molesting dogs, the death of children just in the last hour.
You started counting up, and then you realised, no, it just feels like there's more, because the two things he said were off.
Yes, it does feel like there's more. Anyway, let's move on to night 5, August 9th, 2021, from Kisai Bunker Hall in Nagano, in front of 177 people. Like I said, there's only 2 matches from the 5-star on this show. They're the only ones we're going to review. So I'll quickly read through the rest of the results. So we opened with a 3-way match with Tam Nakano defeating Lady C and Mina Shirakawa with the Dodon Tam in 7 minutes and 52 seconds. The first block match then was from Blue Block, with Konami getting her first win of the tournament, defeating Unagi Sayaka, who stays at 4 points, with the Triangle Lancer in 11 minutes and 33 seconds. Right.
Big old meh. Big old meh.
Yeah, this isn't good.
It's not even fine. It's just meh. It's not we'll get to an actively bad match from McCorrican. This isn't actively bad per se. Below average, yeah, sure, especially for tournament Konami standards. There was no real structure to bite your teeth into. Nothing I love Konami, but she can't rate, in terms of that, shooter role, she doesn't raise people like a Syri does.
Agreed.
Which is fine, but doesn't have to be her job. But, when she's in there with Unagi, it's oh my god. I don't even think, how long did this match go?
It went 11 minutes and 33 seconds.
That's about 11 minutes longer than it should have, and it felt about 11 minutes longer than it was.
Right. So, I just want to read something from my notes, and it links in with what Alex Tremaine has said here. Mina feels like she has a better grasp of the basics than Unagi, Unagi is building this flashy moveset on shaky foundations. I agree with that entirely, and this is why. It ultimately plays out exactly the same as their match when Konami was part of Unagi's 7-match trial. It is basically the exact same match, just with a Sushan more heatless Unagi offense. Now, I don't mean to hate on Unagi incessantly, but this match...
But to be fair, it's not like we go out... It's not like we don't praise Unagi when praise is warranted.
No, certainly not.
It's just warranted. We praise Unagi's Tam match. We gave praise to... We went out of our way to say that the problems with the Syri match won to Unagi. It's just a case of... Here she was definitely the problem.
It just highlights everything that doesn't connect with me. Watching Mina against Saki on the previous night, we saw some excellent selling from Mina. And through that excellent selling, you were invested in her as a babyface. But
that's the thing
she just doesn't... Unagi just doesn't seem to have it yet. And she just opts for screaming as her fire-up. Because instead of any sort of selling, it just doesn't feel earned.
About a round robin is it does nothing but expose your flaws. You saw people coming out of, say, 2019 G1 being down on Cobb, or last year's N1 victory being a bit down on Marufuji, because so many singles matches in such a short amount of time. If you have flaws, they're going to be exposed, no matter how minor they are. I brought up, say, Giulia and May's mat work, which normally I never would. But because it's all so close together, it's yeah, this is a noticeable problem. With Unagi, her problems are noticeable anyway. So like when it's something like this, where like, and I'm not being funny, we've seen the same Unagi story a million times. We've seen it since 7-match series. And like we haven't got Unagi has an Unagi match, and when she strays outside of the Unagi match, it's worse.
One thing we've always said about Unagi is that she's better from underneath than she is on top. But here, it doesn't help that I think here she was having an off night. She completely whiffs a big boot. She fluffs a really, really convoluted roll up. And then she takes some really odd, physically defying bumps from Konami as well. It didn't connect with me at all. Unagi as the underdog babyface didn't connect with me at all. It has done in previous matches, just not here. Konami is not the kind of person to raise someone like Unagi into a great match. Even the finish was clumsy.
Konami can raise people, but like they can't be as far below her.
They've got to be of a certain level.
She can give like Mayu a fairly compelling match where they grapple for a while. That's the kind of thing we're talking here. Not like she can raise people's weaknesses. I don't think she can raise someone like Unagi, who's like at best a C in like all areas. At best, she's a C.
I understand what they were trying to do here with the match. Like, you've got Konami basically attempting to out-grapple Unagi, and because it's a massive gap in Unagi's offense, it makes sense. She lacks the necessary reversals to get out of it, but it feels very run of the mill. And much as I'd love to land every single thing at Unagi's door for it being a boring match, Konami takes some of the blame as well, because it never felt like she got out of second gear either.
But to be fair, I don't want Konami to go out of second gear for something like this.
Agreed, but then the match shouldn't be going 11 minutes.
Well, to be fair, the time they were given is not their fault.
No, agreed, but they should be doing more to fill it.
Yeah, but
there's more that Konami could have done. Properly fucking brutalized her.
In terms of like Konami, like from Konami's perspective, if you know that like the best you can get out of her is fine, and you have like this is before the shows get cancelled, so you have X amount of matches in like a very short amount of time. I don't blame her for taking a night off. Especially since no matter what, no one was coming out of this one talking about Konami versus Unagi. In fact, no one's going to come out of this one talking about anything. But
well, I have other problems as well with Konami's tournament so far. What did you give this, Chris?
2. It was. Yeah.
I gave it 2 as well. I thought calling it meh is probably the nicest thing I can say about it. We then go to our second and last block match of night 5, which again came from Blue Block. We saw Maika go to the top of the block with 6 points, defeating Azumi, who remains on 2 points with the Michinoku driver 2. Oh, Chris, I'm so disappointed in this match.
It was decent.
It was fine, and that's the problem. Like, you look and you think, oh, Maika versus Azumi, and then it was fine.
These two have never stood out as a pairing that overly works, so like I wasn't expecting fireworks or anything. I was expecting it to be a short, fun sprint, and it was a short, fun sprint.
It was. The finish just came for me.
Say that again?
The finish just came out of absolutely nowhere. There was no build to the finish. There was no.
Have you ever watched a high-speed match?
Yeah, but this wasn't a high-speed match.
Azumi tried.
Azumi tried in the same way she tried against Syri. But Maika had far better attack. She had the significant power advantage and basically flattened Azumi. But then
there were some really good counters in here.
There were some good counters, and we say that about every Azumi match. But Maika was great as well, and to be honest, Maika's doing a tremendous job in this tournament. So, I'm not going to spend too much time ragging on this match because Maika's one of my favorite people in this tournament at the moment on consistent match quality. I think there's probably only Syri and Utami.
You say that Giulia's been fairly consistent.
Yeah, Giulia has been very good, actually.
Momo in her 2 matches has been really consistent. Poi's been really consistent.
It's been a good tournament, in ring.
Saki's been really consistent. Tam's been surprisingly.
Saki's been great. but it's not been at the same level. If
no,
you
but
get my meaning.
she's been consistent.
She's been very consistent, and same with Tam. I don't know why your hatred of Tam has come from all of a sudden, but
I don't hate Tam. It's one of those cases where her title reigns expose some of her problems, and then that doesn't make me dislike Tam. It just means I can acknowledge her problems.
Okay. Yeah, I find it quite maddening that this match was pushed for time, as both women would have put on a classic with just 5 more minutes, yet the Unagi match went 11.
Yeah, well, again, we're very high on Unagi right now.
I don't give a shit if they're high on Unagi. Honestly, I could not give a fuck. I don't mean to be...
Maybe they want to get some branding in there.
I could not give a shit if they want to get more summer Unagi.
Unagi's Unagi.
I'm sorry.
With Momo's rice.
I understand that you need to give her time. I understand that, to get her better, she needs to be exposed to better matches. But they should be realizing that she's not getting better quick enough. And I'm sorry, I might be in the minority with that. I might well be in the minority of that. I might have an absolute cascade of Unagi lovers telling me that I'm a dickhead. And that's fine. I am a dickhead. But
you are a dickhead.
You can't deny that Unagi's matches are 9 times out of 10 copy and paste. And I completely agree with Plug Pedro. I do hope that Takumi squashes her in like 2 minutes. Because if that goes 12 minutes and Unagi gets anything other than a slap, I'm going to cry.
I hope it's like 12 minutes, but Takumi kind of just kicks her.
Just 12 minutes of Takumi kicking the face off Unagi.
Yeah, it'd be like Taichi versus Ibushi, but like really one-sided.
Yeah, just one side of that match. Like, I'm sure Unagi's a lovely person. She seems really nice as a person, and this isn't a slight on her as a person, but as a worker, she's like, dog shit.
I think she's been put in a situation where, like, when Mina got better she got better over a series of tag matches, where like she could better explore what works for her, what doesn't work for her, and then tag out so that Tam and Mayu can do the heavy lifting. Whereas with Unagi, they're trying to make her get better in high stakes singles matches. They did it with Cinderella, they did it with in the future tournament, and now they're doing it here. Like, you're not gonna she's not been given enough time to like address her problems because the next singles match is always like a few days away.
Well, then that shouldn't be the case.
No, that's thing.
Yeah, fine. That's not Unagi's. That's not Unagi's fault. I get that.
They're going about Unagi wrong. Like,
the way they went about bringing Mina up was great, but to me, and Alex Tremaine, I'll just put the comment back on the screen there. I don't think she's not getting back quickly enough. It's that she's not getting better at the same rate she's being pushed. Couldn't agree more. But you've got, at some point, that has got to fall on you as a wrestler to inject more things into your arsenal.
Like, if she doesn't have the time to do, like, what can you add in 2 days? Like,
that's fine. That's fine. But she shouldn't be a champion, even if it is the future belt and they are, short of people. But when 15-year-old kids are putting together better matches with more training, I understand that. But it is happening far too quickly. She should not be in the position that she's in.
No, I agree that she shouldn't be in the position that she's in, but I can't really be mad at her because what else can she do?
I don't think she should be in the spot she's in. It's really quite maddening.
No, she shouldn't, but I can't at all blame her for that.
Well,
no matter your experience level, if you're like in a wrestling, we're going to go, we're going to give you this many dates against this many big stars. You're going to take it.
She just hasn't. I don't see the ability there. I don't see what I see in Mina. And admittedly, Mina is, not great.
And she's been, to be fair, Mina's also been around for like 6 months longer.
That's true, but don't forget, Unagi wasn't just not wrestling.
I know, but like, what TJP asked for, and like, I'm not saying one's better or worse, but I think what TJP asked of you and what Stardom asked for you are 2 completely different things.
Why push Unagi over Mina?
No, I completely agree.
I've just seen Alex put that in the chat.
But I completely agree with you. Like, but not. It's okay. I don't really think they're pushing Unagi over Mina in terms of a future belt because they put the belt on Mina and then she's close to the cutoff day.
I will say, yes, that's fine. But if you look at their 6-man tags or their 6-woman tags, they lose or in any tag setting they lose, Mina is the one that takes the fall.
Yeah, they're high on Unagi. They like her look, they like her charisma or whatever, and they're trying to do a trial by fire kind of thing, but also that doesn't work.
But she had a 7-match trial series, Chris, and didn't get any better as a result of the 7-match series.
No, that's the thing. I do, and I think that's another case where we're going about it all wrong because they're not doing it slowly in tag matches, having like veterans out there to catch her if she falls. They're just pushing her out there and hope she swims.
Let's move on. The remainder of the matches from Night 5 saw an 8-woman tag team match. Ueda Tai's team of Starlight Kid, Ruaka Rina, and Saki Kashima defeating the Stars team of Mayu Iwatani, Hanan, and Koguma, and Lady C with the Freezer Bomb in 14 minutes and 35 seconds. And then main event was a 6-woman tag team match with the Queen's Quest team of Momo, Watanabe, Saya Kamatani, and Utami Hayashishita defeating the Donna Del Mondo team of Giulia, Syri, and Natsupoi with the German suplex in 13 minutes and 29 seconds. Let's move on then to our last night, which was night 6 from August 13th, 2021. From Korakuen Hall in Tokyo, an attendance of 713 people, which was a COVID sellout. Couple of matches. COVID sellout. Couple of matches before we get into the main matches on the card. We opened with a 4-way match with Mina Shirakawa defeating Syuri, Lady C, and Hanan with the Glamorous Collection Mina in 4 minutes and 32 seconds. We then had a 6-woman tag team match with the Queen's Quest team of Utami Hayashishita, Azumi, and Hina defeating Ueda Tai in 8 minutes and 53 seconds with the Azumi Sushi. Oh, God. Right. Okay. So we then moved on to the Future of Stardom Championship match, which was the champion Unagi Sayaka defeating the debuting Mei Sakurai with the Diffuhan Katame in 8 minutes and 32 seconds. Dude, this was bad. Dude, this was really bad.
Some background. If Mei Sakurai was good elsewhere, she didn't show it here. I understand it wasn't against the best of opponents. Both women came off as very green because they're both... Well, actually, Nagi shouldn't be green at this point, but both women... Like, right, calm down. Take some fucking Adderall. Adderall. Have a beer. And yeah, they missed about half the strikes they tried to throw.
They were in the wrong position half the time.
They weren't even going for anything that complicated.
No, Irish whips.
It was like simple shit done bad.
I mean, quite honestly, this match, it's not good. And even that might be dousing it in false praise.
It's probably the worst Stardom singles match this year.
I think it's possibly the worst Stardom singles match since I've been watching. Can you think of a worse singles match?
I can think of singles matches that made me more angry. I'm not angry at all at this match. It's objectively bad. I'm not angry at it.
It is. I was slightly concerned heading into the match anyway about how Unagi would lead a match, but oh my God, it's not fair to lay all this at her door, but I'll get to Unagi in a minute, but the occasion probably seems to get to Sakurai. She starts the match poorly, never recovers.
Very quickly, does anyone in the chat know anything about Sakurai? Because me and Rob don't watch. Well, I've watched half an At-Res Girls show once and I wasn't really paying attention, so I'm the worst person.
But yeah, from her initial appalling strikes, she attempts to get the hot start, to completely whiffing big boots, to clearly being in the wrong place, bringing the match to a grinding halt, to falling over when Unagi wants to hit her with the face buster, to struggling to maneuver herself into the Diffuhan Katame, meaning the finish fell flat. This is not a debut to remember.
The finish was never going to be hot.
It was colder than fucking Scotland.
Right, you shut your fucking mouth.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Unagi, she's fine here, but she hardly sets the world alight. And she can be blamed for overselling every ineffective strike of May's like she's been hit by a Boeing fucking 747. Every strike May hit, Unagi's on her ass. It's like, Unagi, stand the fuck up. Like, I'm not being funny, but this entire match is an absolute fucking dumpster fire.
It's bad.
There's nothing good about this match. And yeah, I'm sure you're going to say, oh, Rob, it's only the future of Stardom. Nobody gives a shit about that belt. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Completely get that. Don't put her...
Your tone says otherwise.
Don't put her in a match for the title in her first fucking match.
According to Valkyrie, it's only a 20-second match ever.
I don't give a shit if it's a 20-second match ever. Don't put her in a title match at Korakuen. And that's not on her. That is on Stardom. That's fine. But you've got Rena, who has actually got a Future of Stardom championship shot on the back of this. Put her in there because, yes, she's only 15, but she is very experienced. When you've got 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds like Hannon, who hasn't had a shot at this title, yes, it is the Future Belt. Completely understand the lack of relevancy of the Future Belt. But Mai Sakurai should not have been put in there. And if she was put in there, she shouldn't have been put in there against Unagi. Because Unagi has not got the experience to carry someone of Mai's real greenness to a decent match. And that showed here. To the point where Unagi, can you name one piece of signature offense that Unagi hit that wasn't the facebuster? And that fucking leg drop?
Yeah, it's a dud. It's definitely a dud.
It's the worst match I've seen since doing this podcast. And there's no excuses for it.
Yeah. Again, there's matches that have made me angrier, but they're not objectively worse.
I mean, again, I am not just putting this at the two women's door. This is an absolute... I don't understand the booking of this match.
They were trying to debut her with a bang and it went wrong because
but the issue is now
they signed someone with 20 matches under their belt and expected them to be able to hold the weight of a championship match
against, and no offense to it, against Unagi. I don't understand, Chris, and to me it's going to take a long time to build her back up after this.
Yeah,
because everyone is going to watch her and just think she's shit.
It's one of those things where she's going to have to be very good for a very long time. Like, it's weird because even look at Jay White. He had a slightly underwhelming match in the Tokyo Dome, and then it took him a year and a half of being amazing to build that back up.
Yeah.
Like, whereas here, she's came in here and had an awful match. And, don't get me wrong, it's she'll get better because, she's had 20 matches.
Of course she's going to get better.
You can only get better from here.
Yeah, there is literally only one way to go because short of breaking her own leg entering the ring, there is no way this match could be any worse.
Oh, I like Valkyrie in the chat, but it's probably her best match.
I mean, honestly, I would have put Lady C in this position ahead of her.
Yeah, Lady C's definitely shown more so far. Oh, Valkyrie now.
I mean, I would have put Rena. I'd absolutely put Hannon in there. Debut May in a fucking tag match. Have a tag with Cosmic Angels against someone. Have Cosmic Angels win, and then have May say, I want to join Cosmic Angels. Don't have her completely fuck up her match against Unagi, who, also fucks up the match.
To be fair,
and then have, I really want to join you. Why? You're both shit.
I think we had I did like how Tam was trying to are you ready to never give up? It's
I love the fact that Unagi said no, and then Tam just completely overrode her and went, nah, come on then. that did make me laugh.
But Unagi's trying to get... I do like Unagi's trying to get an ego on her where she doesn't deserve it. It's going to be like Spider-Man 3. She's going to be emo dancing.
Dancing.
Yeah, going to jazz bars and dance. He danced on that piano. That was a dick move.
Honestly, it's the funniest thing in cinema.
I wasn't old enough to go see it in the cinema.
I actively hated this match.
Yeah, again, no, it's objectively like a dud. There's nothing good in this match.
No.
But also, I'm not angry. I saw this coming a mile off.
See, because I don't know anything about Mai Sakurai, with the fact that her very, very, very first match, they've put her in, yes, again, I understand the future of Stardom Championship, but a championship picture at Korakuen Hall, irrelevant of what championship that is, it's a fairly,
this is Stardom just continuing to overpush tall people.
Yeah, agreed.
Because
I'm sorry, they're overpushing Unagi, they're overpushing Mai.
They overpushed Himika last year.
Nowhere near to the same extent.
No, I think no, it doesn't seem as bad because she
can wrestle.
Yeah, no, that's because she had A, more experience, and B, is better than these two. But like, they gave her a lot of time in 5-star. They gave her big wins over big people very fast, and then put her in the white belt picture within 3 months of coming in.
Yeah, but she lost and hasn't been back since. That I don't mind, Chris, because don't forget she's had time to prove herself. And ultimately, she came second in the 5-star. That is far less egregious to me than debuting and immediately getting a title shot.
Unagi could come second in the 5-star. You still wouldn't change your opinion on her.
Right. Give me 3 good singles Unagi matches.
Good. That's not a high bar. The Syri match, the Micah match, and the...
Neither of us like the Syri match, so don't start that.
No, we gave it a positive score.
No, we only did that because of Syri, so please don't... We also said we needed to cut it by half. We cannot possibly say a match is good if we have said they need to halve the time limit.
In that case, we need to look at our fucking...
Then her Micah match in the Cinderella tournament semi-final, fine. Her Tam match from the 5-star, fine. Give me another one.
The Izumi match was decent.
It was okay. It wasn't good, it was okay.
She had a moment match, I'm pretty sure that was good. Oh, no, that was Mina.
That was Mina.
Oh,
that was it. With Saya Kamatani.
Yeah. Oh, the Izumi match at what's it called?
KBS Hall.
Oh, the Giulia match. Boom.
My only issue with that is all Giulia. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful.
And the tag match for the night before was better.
And the tag match was better, yeah, absolutely. I just see Velka just put the Giulia match and the Mayu match. The Giulia match was great, but the Giulia match was all on the back of Giulia. I don't think Unagi could have gave anything to that.
I think the Mayu match was good because she looked down the fucking camera before giving a tombstone. But like you say that, she's had a bunch of really good tag matches as part of Cosmic Angels. She can hit her spots well.
Her 5 spots that she hits in every match.
Yeah.
Apart from in this fucking match.
I mean, yeah, but she was in there with essentially a broom.
May was not good here. And I'm sure she's better than what she put on here. It could have been a lack of chemistry. It could have been just the occasion getting to it. I don't know, but this was not a good match. Dud. And the only reason I haven't given it -stars is because I feel sorry for them.
No, I can't give it -stars because, of course, it was bad.
But it shouldn't be, Chris.
This is the kind of match you have in training, and we put it on in Korakuen.
But
yeah,
even saying the future belt is one that you don't give a shit about. You look at who's held it, and you look at the matches that we've had for it.
And I didn't even bring up the future thing. I'm just saying, like, of course, it was bad. I'm explaining why I'm not angry because, like, it was always going to be bad. Fucking look at it.
May will be beaten from wall to wall in the dojo by Syri and Tam. Here's hoping.
It's like being mad at a monkey for throwing shit. Of course, it's throwing shit. It's a monkey.
That would have got 2.5 stars, Chris.
Yeah, because shit is an effective weapon if it gets in your eyes.
Yeah, this wasn't good at all. Something that was surprisingly good, though, was the following match. The Red Block match between Starlight Kid, who moved to 5 points, defeating Fukigen Death, who stays on 0, with the Moonsault. Chris,
this is the first actively good death match in a while.
I would argue this is the best death match since her title match with Azumi.
No, I'd argue this is the best one since Mayu.
What, the Mayu one since, last 5-star?
Yeah.
The book one.
But I love the book one.
The book one was great, but I do think her title match was decent. Her high-speed title match was decent.
But her non-death title match was better.
When she was Kaori Yoniyama?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, well, I don't
That's the one with the Zumi.
I don't count non-death.
Yoniyama matches, you just count them as when she's death.
Yeah, because like it's like Muta and Muto. They wrestle completely differently.
Okay. Go into this match. What do you think about this?
It was enjoyable. For the most part, it was a dumb. I like it very quickly. I do like how Death's thing has become smoking. It's like the sad clown who smokes. It's like the clown from Toy Story 3, who looks out the. It's like, I know. What's his name? Laszlo. It's not Laszlo.
Who?
The bear. Lotso.
No, it's not Lotso. Is it?
It's Lotso.
Is it Lotso?
It's Lotso.
Okay.
I'm the big baby, which terrifies the shit out of me.
Yeah, it was a brave thing to put that in. Bear in toys.
Do you not trust me?
No, I don't.
Toy Story 3 it's one of my favorite Pixar movies.
It's Lotso hugging.
Yeah, that's his second name. So it's a pun. Lotso hugging, and we just called him Lotso. See.
Anyway, carry on.
Chris knows. Chris can. What were we talking about?
The Death versus Starlight Kid match.
Yeah. It went from like high speed with some fairly decent comedy bits. I like Kid getting increasingly frustrated. It's like, just fucking stop. I like Kid being a dick as soon as she was on top, like stepping over it to hit the top rope moves.
Yep.
Good shit. Like, I'm not saying it's gonna blow your mind or anything, but it was like actively like a fun match.
Mm. Yeah, I agree with you. There's not a great deal to say about this. It didn't go very long at all, to be honest. But yeah, it was a good match. I enjoyed the sort of comic elements of Death playing off against Starlight. Ultimately, I think Starlight was always going to win this. Yeah, it was good. There's not a lot really to say otherwise. 3.25, Chris.
I just gave it 3. Very good.
But
not very good. Good.
We move on then to the blue block match with Saya Kamatani beating Konami. Saya moving to 4 points, Konami moving to, staying on 2, with the Hurricane Rana in 11 minutes and 5 seconds. I didn't like this, Chris.
I thought this was good. It hit all the normal big, hit all the Stardom match. It's like, if you were to like make a Stardom match, but in an AI, this is probably what would come out. If you were to make a Stardom tournament match, it was fine. They both hit decent moves. They both had some decent counters. They weren't overly botchy about saying something with Siren the ring. Yeah, nothing. I liked it. I thought it was good. I'm not going to set your world on fire. I'm interested to see where you actively hate it.
I don't actively hate it. I just don't like it. They aren't the same thing. I found it really boring.
It did go on too long.
It did, but it started with a lot of feeling out, slow, deliberate grapples, and then Konami gets bored and sends Saya to the outside, slams her into the barricade, wrenches her arm through it. And then it seems that Konami's game plan is to goad Saya into exhausting herself and then pouncing and locking her in the triangle lancer. And whilst that's a good premise for your match, if you don't then fill it with much, then it's going to feel inherently boring. I mean, there was at least 3 minutes of this bout that felt like dead air.
Yeah.
I mean, in truth, nothing of any real significance from either woman happened between going to the outside and the closing stretch. Nothing memorable happened. There was some strikes. There was Konami's purple hair. There was a couple of submissions, but ultimately this stunk of going through the motions Konami. And I don't know whether I've just put Konami on this pedestal because she had such a fucking good 5-star last year, but I've not been enamored with her TAM match was good. Her TAM match was good, to be fair, but I've not been enamored with either of the follow-up matches with Unagi or Saya. I don't know whether this was a clash of styles.
In the Unagi case, I don't think you can blame her. But also, like, they had a match. We had a match in the last 5-star last year, and we didn't mesh incredibly well there either, if I remember correctly.
I honestly can't remember. No, I think they did. I think Konami just fucking brutalized her.
Oh yeah, because that's Konami's whole deal last year.
In it.
Yeah.
Velkins, last year it was changing Konami. Yeah, I agree with that, but she was changing into what she is now. Here, she's part of a Weeda tie. Does she do anything more savage now than she did in last year's 5-star?
She did in the TAM match with the chairs.
Okay,
I don't blame her, but I'm not going to even mention the Unagi match because I don't blame her for coasting.
No, that's fine. But aside from that, aside from that,
she's definitely coasting in this one. I agree.
100% coasting, and has been for a while, Chris.
Well, she has been for 2 matches. Come on.
No, I mean, even before the 5-star, can you name, apart from the Syri match, which was great, and then she had a good match where she drew the Utami and a good match where she drew the Tam. But she hasn't been given the spotlight, which is half the problem, which we know is an issue. But then when she gets that spotlight, her matches don't really connect. And then when we get coasting Konami, it's the worst.
Yeah. It's a bit like... It's weird. It's like Minoru Suzuki, where when he coasts, he really coasts.
Yeah, it is like that. If she's a heel, which her 5-star towards the end last year was inherently heel, just do that here. Just beat the shit out of someone. That's all I want. Not everyone. Fine.
She still has most of her tournament ahead of her, so she might change.
She has got left Utami and Syuri. Obviously, the
Syuri's going to be great.
To look forward to.
Absolutely. That Syuri match is still top 10 of Stardom's year.
Yeah, hard to disagree with that, to be fair. Maika, Azumi.
That should be good.
Ruaka, a Weeda tie.
Ruaka's been good.
And then Takumi Aroa.
That Takumi versus just everyone.
Takumi versus Konami could be good, but you get the horrible impression that... Have we got another bot?
We've got another. It's the same bot.
So, do you want to become famous, Chris? You can buy followers, primes, and viewers on bigfollows.com. Have we got a first sponsor?
If so, you didn't send me any fucking money for it.
No. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We are sponsored by bigfollows.spacecom. That space is very important, otherwise it won't take you to the right website. Also,
it sounds like in the sense I just for some reason reminded of by Mon Sci-Fi Con.
Yeah, I'm just really intrigued as to what primes are. What are primes?
Like, you can follow people for free if you have Amazon Prime.
Right. So I can buy Prime people.
Maybe.
On bigfollows.com. Sorry, bigfollows.spacecom.
Well, why don't you go there and find out?
To bigfollows.spacecom?
Yeah.
The sponsors of today's podcast?
Yeah.
I might well do. Yeah, getting back to this and ignoring the huge troll in the huge bot, in the comments. The only thing I'm concerned about with the Takumi match is that she's going to get overshadowed.
Yeah.
Which isn't what we want at all.
I mean, but also again, Konami in Stardom terms is like a for life mid-carder. And then you have the prospect of Aroha taking on Utami and Syri and Rude.
Carry on.
Rude. Rude.
Yeah, it's fine.
Have better lungs. Scrub.
What are you saying?
The prospect of...
Oh. No, seriously, I'm good.
You carry on. You keep going. Okay. I've dropped my bookmark. No. I shouldn't have opened the book I was reading.
Oh my god.
It's Doctor Who. Okay. You good? Stop choking.
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Expected you to have a stronger throat. So yeah, but like when you have a prospect of Takumi, when you have a prospect of
good Christ. Oh.
When you have the prospect of Takumi versus Utami and Takumi versus Syri and even like a Micah, they're kind of just inherently more exciting.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the Konami match would be good, but like, of course, it's going to be overshadowed.
No, I'm not bothered. That wasn't what I meant. That wasn't what I meant. Sorry. I did almost wallball myself, Plug Pedro. Yes, I did. Fucking hell. Oh, that hurt. Oh. Anyway, ambulance. Yeah, what I meant was in her match with Takumi, who's the biggest star there? It's Takumi Iroha.
Yeah.
So even though it's a big match, Takumi Iroha is going to be the bigger thing.
Yeah. Last thing, maybe it would be more of an exciting prospect if, like, again, I think part of Konami's problem this 5-star so far is the opponents. When she was given someone she gels with fairly well in Tam, it went well. She's been given a high flyer who doesn't really suit her. Because, like, if you take Unagi to the ground, what's she going to do? Grapple? That's hilarious. Or if you give her Unagi, she might as well be wrestling smoke. So... Like, in terms of, like, yes, she's not the best 5-star so far, but she's got her worst opponents out of the way. Like, even Tam is hit and miss with Konami. So,
yeah.
She's got her worst opponents out of the way and got a really good match out of with one of them. So, like, I'm not actually that worried about Konami.
Okay.
And when you say Konami's been coasting, like, she hasn't coasted in big matches. She's coasted in, like, a lot of shit she's been given.
She's had one big match, mate, which was the SWA match. She then had 2 tag team matches.
Yeah,
where she was the champion, and they were very average.
They were very average, yeah.
So
but
you
also,
know,
like,
you say
I'm not saying, but her and B weren't like a great team together.
No, they weren't. But then she's been in Artist of Stardom Championship matches where they've been meh.
Who else was in them though?
Tam.
Didn't I just say she was hitting mess with Tam?
Yeah, but even so, she can't be just. She was with Micah and Himika, and Micah and Natsupoi and Himika.
I think in terms of like where she is in the card, Konami does fine.
They were Velgage. Let's move on then before I somehow managed to die again. Blue block match. Tam Nakano moved to 6 points, defeating Micah, who is also on 6 points, with a roll-up in 7 minutes and 37 seconds. Chris, I really, really, really enjoyed this match.
It was good. I liked it.
Is that it? Are you on your phone?
I'm looking at my note. That's what my notes are.
Oh, okay then. I thought you were just texting someone. Oh,
no, although I did just find out that Daniel Garcia is taking on Minoru Suzuki, and that's an exciting prospect. Tam versus Micah, I did like it. I obviously didn't like it as much as you because I'm not going to use the words "very." But
okay,
like, it was a good match. I thought they did decently well. I thought Tam did all right from behind. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good tournament match. It didn't blow my mind though. I think that's because like when I look at the matches I really like in this tournament, like I really like them. So it's sort of like a good match is like, yeah, it's just a good match.
No, I get that. And I shouldn't have spaffed my load up the wall straight away. I gave it 3 3/4.
Yeah.
I loved Tam's selling. And we talked about Tam being great in sub 10-minute matches before, and I think this was a perfect example of that.
Yeah, she works best. She works best in sub 10-minute matches, especially when she's going in cold.
Exactly. And here, again, the arm was targeted. She was working from underneath. The crowd were behind it. It was perfect. Micah was the perfect foil for this sort of storyline.
This was a surprisingly loud play crowd.
It was. It was actually. The crowd were really, really hot. Really hot.
really hot for the main event. Like, really.
Massively. And we'll be talking about that in a minute because that match, spoilers, was also fantastic. But yeah, this was really, really good. I love the fact that Tam's arm is playing a storyline all the way through this tournament.
Yeah.
You can see it being the thing that stops her getting to the final. Someone is just going to target that arm and she's just not going to be able to come back, because here the only reason she won was because of a roll-up. She did the snap suplex, the snap tiger suplex, but then couldn't capitalize because of her arm, and then managed to transition into what was a really smooth, cool looking roll-up.
Everything in this match was good. It was clean.
My favorite bit of this match was certainly where Konami, it's because I've been talking about Konami, where Tam grabs Micah into the Tiger Suplex and Micah ripcords her and just big boots her arm, her bad arm. Oh, it was brilliant. Really, really cool way of getting out of that move. Like I say, I gave it 3 3/4. What did you give it, Chris?
I gave it 3 1/4. I thought it was good. I liked it. I mean, I just didn't connect with me as well as you.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, so we move on then. 5-star Grand Prix Red Block match, the semi-main of this Korakuen show. Which, by the way, I should say, this Korakuen show was pretty good. Yeah. We can't fault this Korakuen show, aside from that fucking future match. Mayu Iwatani moved to 4 points, defeating Natsupoi, who stays on 3 with the Dragon Suplex in 10 minutes and 8 seconds. Chris, Natsupoi and Mayu, what did you think?
So good. Very good match. I kind of wish the gut selling went further. I like good gut sell.
You do.
And because it was also a very creative way to initiate a story like that.
Yeah.
Like, she missed her drop kick and landed on the rope, and then May jumped on her. I thought that was really good. And then May, sitting cross legs doing the timeout thing. Dickhead May, love it. But then that was just a way to start the time, I think, because they kind of just did that for a while, and then they got things that never came up again. Which is strange, because there's sequences in this match where, if it was a story they continued with, if it was a story they continued with, the knees from the Sparkle Splash would have.
Yeah, it would have. It was natural story progression, wasn't it? Really, for the gut selling to happen, and then for Mayu to get the legs up on the fairy.
But because there was a good 5 to 7 minutes of not selling the gut at all between that.
No, I get that.
You didn't register that at all in your brain. So beyond that, that's slightly disappointing, to be honest with you. But also, then it basically turned into a high-speed match, which I'm fine with. May's a former high-speed champion. She works well at that pace, and it's fairly good for her because it means she doesn't need to take many nutty bumps. That didn't stop her. She still ate shit on a frog splash. But, well, not ate shit, but she still threw herself into a frog splash. And then, but it was quite cathartic when Poi did end up hitting the splash.
Yeah.
Of Sparkles. But beyond that, it was kind of just a fun, fast-paced match and really fun creative counters. Good fast pace. I kind of wish it wasn't just obvious they did that. Honestly, the way they went about stalling for time is preferable to Mayu trying to mat wrestle again. But
really weren't a fan of that way.
No, she's not a good mat wrestler. But please don't introduce an element if you're not going to use it. You could have just attacked from the outside or something. Especially now, because that could have been used for a really good gut selling performance, and now it's not the first time you'd be seeing it.
One question, Chris. We've seen in the 3 matches Mayu's had in the tournament, we've seen Dickhead Mayu in all 3.
Yeah.
Is this going somewhere, is what I'm asking, because we haven't seen babyface icon from underneath Mayu. In the Momo match, she was obscenely complacent and it cost her the match. Against Giulia, she properly turned dickhead. Those headbutts were grotesque. And then here, we see her in no way taking Natsupoi seriously. And it does feel like she's changed somewhat. Do you think that's anything to do with the year she's had? Do you think that's anything to do with, the fact that she's had so many people turn on her in the last year and a bit?
I think this will be seen. Oh, my laptop's. Oh no. Laptop's went to low battery. No.
Okay. You are so buzzy, my friend. So feedy backy. There we go.
So maybe ask me after she's faced Kid.
Yeah, okay. So
because right now it could be something, or it could just sometimes Mayu's just a dick.
Yeah, I mean, we've always known that Mayu's had this part of her, this complacent dickhead bit.
She's always had this dick.
She's always had this dick. If you're going to audio clip any part of the podcast, please don't make it that. Yeah, she's always had this dickhead side that she's had, but it feels like, especially at the moment, it is far more prevalent since this all-out war on Oida Tai. And I can't help wondering if this would have somehow come to a different conclusion, or there'd have been something else happening if Natsuko Tora was still in the tournament.
Yeah, I think that's the thing we don't. But again, she was in a different block, wasn't she?
No, Tora was replaced by Fukin Death.
Oh, of course.
Tora was red block.
I'm getting Tora and Muraka mixed up.
But yeah, we'll put a pin in it and see how.
Who does she have next? Who does she have coming up? Well, I guess we don't know because all the shows have been cancelled.
So the matches that Mayu's got left are Death, Saki, Starlight, Himika, Koguma, Mina.
Okay. I think her matches with Death, Mina, Koguma, and... So what was the first one again?
Death, Saki, Starlight, Himika, Koguma, and Mina.
Mina could be really telling.
I think with Mina being that very first sort of divide between her and Tam.
And also how she wrestles Kid is going to be the most telling, which is why I said to wait till after Kid.
And Saki as well, don't forget. All the history she's got with Saki.
Yeah, but then again, we had a match earlier. Actually, that'll be a good point in comparison. We'll put a pin in it.
Yeah, we'll put a pin in it, absolutely. But I agree with Alex Tremaine. I do kind of want to see Mayu go full asshole, and for Jungle to just not recognize a friend when she gets back. That would be a really interesting storyline.
I think in terms of this match, though, Natsupoi fighting from underneath was great.
Yeah.
She's very sympathetic, and so Mayu being an asshole really helped that. I'm kind of sad it ended on just a normal dragon.
Yeah, no, I get that. It did feel more high speedy just ending it with a normal dragon suplex instead of the two-step dragon. Yeah. But maybe Mayu just didn't think that Natsupoi was worthy of the two-step dragon.
Dickhead Mayu.
Dickhead Mayu, absolutely. What did you give it, Chris?
I might give it 3 3/4. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was a good match. I gave it 4, but Mayu, she's obviously going to get 4. Main event then of Korakuen was a red block match with Giulia moving to 4 points, defeating Koguma, who stays on 2 points with the Northern Lights bomb in 14 minutes and 31 seconds. Chris, how did Koguma do in her first singles main event in her new return? Not only her first singles match main event, but also her first Korakuen main event singles match.
That didn't so much sound like a hiccup more than it did a bug flying into your mouth.
Honestly, I'm really struggling to talk now.
She did really well. She hit hard. She took big bumps. She didn't have this apprehension she seems to have before. Giulia seems to bring that out of her because her other best match is that tag match, where she was in it more than Mayu was. It was overall just very good. She did a crossbody when no one caught her fucking face.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I saw that.
Ate shit on the floor.
Well, she did. She does that first, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And then did it, but she seemed to release her hands a bit late. So she just ate the shit on the outside.
I kind of wish we had like Power Rangers technology, and when she did that, she like morphed
into a bear.
Yeah, it's like bear. Like she does that and then does that, and then the suit comes down. She's suddenly like the same height as everyone else because that's how Power Rangers works.
We've talked a lot about Koguma's ring rust.
It's gone now.
Gone completely. I thought she was tremendous.
She seemed to, and so a lot of the time when she put in big situations, she seemed to like second guess herself. Whereas here, she kind of, I guess it's part of the reason you're in there with Giulia, and when she wants to be, she's just viscerally violent. Like Giulia's offense nowadays is just, I'm going to drop you in your head.
That ripcord big boot that split Koguma's face open was fucking awful. It looked brutal. It was
great. The no sell suplex spots.
Yeah.
That was great. The Koguma taking Giulia to suplex prefecture. I said that wrong.
Good one. Comedy.
Yeah, it's as close to a hot match as you're gonna get in Stardom. Because Stardom doesn't have many, like, in Stardom terms, Utami's a hot. So, like, it's the closest you're going to get to a house match in Stardom, and it worked really well. I think Koguma's sort of shown where she can stand outside of the high-speed division, and it's a decent... It's a niche for Stardom doesn't quite have. So, this has... Like, Koguma's really shown her potential here. I hope she keeps it up, but also, like, Giulia just seems to be one of her best opponents.
Yeah. Their match, ALK versus Magma, as they were known, that was a really, really good match.
That's probably the best match for the tag belts all year.
Certainly up there. But I know that obviously Koguma pinned Giulia before that to get the title shot.
Yeah.
And these two do have really good chemistry. I thought the Korakuen crowd by the end of this match, by that closing stretch, was so unbelievably behind Koguma, as Koguma is literally screaming in Giulia's face, just refusing to die.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Really, really good. Whenever there was high-speed spots, Giulia was keeping up with Koguma. Whenever there was hard-hitting spots, you really felt the crowd get behind Koguma, which, is what this is all about. If you are a babyface in peril, we talked about it with Mina. If you are a babyface in peril, you've got to make the crowd believe. You've got to have the crowd invested. And Koguma did that without doing the overly contrived high-speed stuff. Her offense is primarily suplexes and drop kicks, and it worked here. And I think you're right. Her and Giulia do have a great chemistry, a great dynamic. And this showed it.
It's the chemistry I thought Tora and Giulia would have.
Yeah. No, I get that. That match was so disappointing. But yeah, overall, I think any talk of ring rust in Koguma can now be put to bed.
Well, you say that. She still has a few more matches, and she's against one of the most, like, if you know how to work Giulia, she's one of the easier people to work. Yeah,
I mean, her Natsupoi match was good.
That's thing. A Natsupoi match was good. A bit long. What was her other match again?
She's only had 2 matches so far in the tournament.
So,
hang on, has she? Koguma. Where are you, Koguma? Yeah, she lost to Giulia and she beat Natsupoi on the 31st of July.
Yeah, okay. So, but like, also, so the thing is, she's had probably 2 of the better opponents in, like, talk to ring rust is gonna happen when she's against someone who's on her level.
So you look at who she's got left. Momo, fucking Def.
Def is probably going to be a tell. Because Def can work well with everyone, but like if you're a rookie against Def, you can tell.
That's true. She did work very well in her 10-minute time limit draw with Azumi at Korakuen, I think on the 26th of July.
Yeah.
So, her singles, she's getting good single matches under her belt.
I don't think what she had was ring rust more than like nerves, and I think best time to
It could have been. Absolutely. She looks inherently like a little bit of a nervous person, and that's fine. Some people are. But the fact that she's come out and basically hit a home run with this Giulia match, the crowd was so into it. So into it. It was really good to watch. And honestly, it's probably one of the 2 matches, maybe 3, that I would actively encourage you to go back and watch from this run of 5-star shows.
What's definitely the best match of this series?
Syri and Azumi.
Nah, this is better.
You think this is better than Syri and Azumi?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What other matches would you recommend from this run? Syri and Azumi, this one.
Poi and Mayu.
Poi and Mayu.
Kid and
Death?
Poi.
Oh, Kid and Poi, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd recommend Saya and Tam, to be honest.
I'd recommend Saki and Giulia.
Saki and Giulia, yeah, that was when you think about it, really, yeah, there have been some duds, but there's been some really good matches. This tournament's been great, to be fair.
Like 5, there's been a thread match every show.
Yeah. I mean, there's been there's been the odd miss, but overall, so far, this tournament
it's quite it's mostly settled into people doing pain by numbers to get through the tournament, but also like there's at least 2 matches worth seeing every show. So
yeah, absolutely.
Like 5.
So if we look at the current standings in each of the blocks, we have a little bit more of an understanding of where we are going. So blue block stands thusly. Tam Nakano 6 points, Maika with 6 points. We've then got a rut of people on 4 points. Utami, Saya, Unagi, and Syuri all sit on 4 points. Konami is on 2, and Azumi is also on 2, leaving Ruaka and Takumi Iroha on 0 points. Obviously, the caveat with Takumi is that she hasn't wrestled yet. Red block stands thusly. Top of the pile with 5 points is Starlight Kid. On 4 points, then we have Mina Shirakawa, Mayu Iwatani, and Giulia. 3 points, Natsupoi. And then we've got Saki Kashima, Koguma, and Momo Watanabe all on 2 points. And then on 0 points, we have Himika, again with the caveat that she hasn't wrestled yet, and Fukiken Death. So, Chris, obviously, we're not quite halfway through the tournament yet. But
yeah, it's a case of basically everyone. Even if someone has 2 points, they still another chance.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
I still think it's too early to call. I don't think it's as cut and dry Giulia as you seem to think it is.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't know. I think Giulia doesn't quite need it. Because Giulia's has enough standings to just get a title shot anyway. So in terms of adding 5 star on top of it, maybe not. Like I still think a surprise win from Iroha would be really, really cool. I also think like a surprise from like Momo or something.
I don't think Iroha's winning it.
You say that we were certain last year as the tournament went on that Konami would be in the final, and then she wasn't. Again, Stardom isn't one for like the climb, like say a New Japan is.
I just think if Iroha wins it, she's not beating Utami for the belt.
She might. Like she doesn't. We do it for a shock moment, and we need her at most once a month. And Marvelous one's like twice a month. She's not a hard person to get hold of.
No, I think it's unfair. I don't know. I don't see them ending Utami's reign with Takumi Iroha.
They've ended reigns in weird.
True, yeah.
So, like, again, if you're applying logic to Stardom where there historically hasn't been any.
I still think it's Giulia. I think it's going to be a Giulia Syri final, which I wouldn't hate at all. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. I wouldn't hate the idea of Takumi Iroha winning it. I wouldn't hate the idea of anyone winning it apart from, like, Death, Mina, or Yanagi. I don't know. I still think it's Giulia's. Despite the fact that she's had the 2 back-to-back losses, I still think Giulia is winning this tournament, winning Red Block. I think Starlight. I think it'll be Mayu that stops Starlight. I know we talked about it being the other way around.
No, I think they could keep each other out. I think Syri and Utami's going to keep each other out of. I think that's going to be a draw that keeps each other out of the finals.
It could be, and that could then set up, a title defense further down the line.
Yeah.
Of course, if Syri wins it, that does that as well. I think they are destined to have another match.
Yeah, either way, one of them,
that first match.
Yeah, that's the thing, because we talked about this when the days were announced, where in terms of a big story on the last day, it's Mayu and Starlight. Whereas the whole story with Utami and Syri right now is they had a really good match for a championship. That's their story.
What do you think about Maika winning it? She's second in the block. Admittedly, she has now lost the tiebreaker with Tam, but
I wouldn't despise that. Also, she has I think the fact that she already has a claim to the red belt kind of. I think if there's going to be someone from Utami's block, it's going to be someone who didn't beat her.
Yeah, I think we can take Saya Kamatani out of the picture now. Yeah, with her having won the Cinderella.
I think we could have taken her out before, to be honest.
I mean, if you look at Blue Block, Utami, Syuri, Tam, Saya, Maika, Razumi, Ruaka, Konami, Unagi, and Takumi Iroha.
I legitimately think that everyone is either a contender or a spoiler this year, with the exception of Death. But Death wasn't meant to be in there; it's meant to be Tora.
I still think Death can be a spoiler.
No, she can be a spoiler, just not to the extent of a Tora, who would have been a contender.
Oh yeah, no, I get that. I mean, we've seen that Unagi's going to be a spoiler, having beaten Tam.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Everyone's as well. There's no wasted space here.
It makes for a very compelling tournament, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm legitimately I know you think it's cut and dry, Giulia. I don't know who's going to win this year.
Well, I think we can safely say it's not Momo because #Momo is buried. Just quickly then, before we sign off, the current upcoming schedule for the 5-star. So this is, hopefully...
I think the schedule was...
Yeah, pretty much. It's the emoji of the woman doing that. But yeah, at the moment, these are the dates. So again, this is completely down to COVID restrictions, where the state of emergencies are extended and things like that. So August 28th in Nagoya, August 29th in Tokyo, September 4th in Shinjuku, September 6th in Korakuen Hall, September 11th in Shinjuku, September 12th in Sendai, September 16th, Korakuen Hall, September 18th, Osaka, September 20th, Korakuen Hall, September 23rd, Toyama, and then we've got the finals, which of course will be live on pay-per-view and I believe on Samurai TV on September 25th from the Ota Ward City Gym, which of course is where they held Tokyo Dream Cinderella. I believe as well that will have English comms. I believe Stuart Fulton and Sonny are returning for that. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will leave the podcast there. Thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. Thank you for everyone that joined us live and interacted with us in the comments. We really do appreciate it. Thank you for everyone asking me if I am all right. Yes, I'm fine. I've learned to drink like a big boy now. But it's been a pleasure talking to you guys. Thank you so much. If you want to subscribe to the podcast, you can go from anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Podcast Addict, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. We really do appreciate it. If you want to give us a 5-star review, that would be grand.
5-star.
If you 5-star, see? Today is the day to do that. If you think we've deserved it, that would be great. If you want to donate, you can do. We have a coffee at the Stardom cast again. No.
I say coffee wrong and it annoys me.
It's coffee.
Kofi.
It's coffee. It's not Kofi.
It's Kofi. Kofi.
Yeah, coffee. The whole thing is buy me a coffee.
Kofi.
It's not Kofi.
It's spelled with it's Kofi. It's Kofi.
Presumably, www.coffee.com was already gone.
I mean, yeah. Actually, I wonder what's on coffee.com.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, if you want to donate, there's absolutely no you don't have to. It's absolutely fine, but obviously it's lovely if you do. You can find us at the website www.podmania.co.uk. You can find us on Twitter at the Stardomcast. Find us on Twitch at the Stardomcast.
You can get 35% off your first shipment.
See, there you go. You can also find us on YouTube at The Real Pod Mania, Twitter at The Stardom Cast. You can find me on Twitter at Real Rob Goodwin. Chris, where can they find you?
At Amanda Holden.
At Amanda Holden. There you go. Direct any of your Twitter and Stardom grievances at Amanda Holden. See what she says. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you guys again soon.